Well, if it is our wonderful podcast listener, the ones that all of us on hams love the most. Dana here to give you a little gentle reminder to hit up our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning and tune up that AC before it fully turns into crotch soup season. June through August are Standard's busy season for getting AC units up to snuff, so get ahead of the curve and have them ensure you don't have a summer where you pit out every shirt you own. Book in May during their pre-summer heat savings event, and you'll beat the rush and save yourself some walking around money. Call Standard Heating today or visit standardheating.com. Enjoy the show. We sincerely appreciate you checking us out each and every day.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
All right. We got to get started already. Can't put it off any longer. Welcome to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. The weekend has come to a terrible close. Everyone's checking back in at work, ourselves included. Josh, is it bad luck to talk about an F-off week at the very beginning of an F-off week?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, before I said anything, I wanted to see what you had to say about it.
No, I think you're safe.
I want to talk about it. I enjoy bragging about our time off.
Bragging.
So I'm going to take my chances. Today is day one of our spring F-off week. We will be nowhere near the radio studios next week. So now that I said it, if this week turns into a total nightmare, you can go ahead and blame me. We have all of next week off. Most of you in our listening audience likely do not, so suck it.
Well, I think there'll be some time off with Memorial Day coming up. I'm going to be doing a little...
Yeah, but we got the whole week off.
We do. I got some camera work going on. I don't even know if I told you guys this. I'll be...
Tell us what that means, camera work.
Involved in some camera work next week with a colonoscopy.
Oh,
coming up next Thursday.
I thought you had another one of your modeling gigs.
No. Well, my colon will be on display for at least one or two people to take a look at.
Oh, sure.
And my wife asked me yesterday if I was going to be a problem because, as you know, Nick, and anybody who's done this knows, there's a period of fasting. And so I have to start fasting the Wednesday at 1 p.m., and then I don't have my deal until 2:30. The next day is where I got to be there.
Next day.
So she was wondering if I'm going to get a little, as they say, hangry in between. Maybe a tad snippy.
Edgy.
That's her thing. That's not my
Snippy.
thing. Like I have her. The reason
how did
she
it go
has
last
pursed
time?
tuna and the reason she has popcorn in her car is because she tends to get a little irritable and tough to be around if she hasn't eaten in a while.
Sure, you've mentioned that before. She becomes a real pain in the ass if she isn't constantly eating.
Yeah, so there's protein bars and stuff like that just to keep her from going off on me.
Well, how did it go last time? She's asking you if you're going to be a problem. How did you fare last time you had to fast for 24 hours prior to a colonoscopy party?
It wasn't bad because it was early in the morning. So I just went from 1 p.m. the day before until 8:30 a.m. So it wasn't...
Oh, but in this case...
Yeah, it's over 24 hours.
You got to push it a little further to a afternoon meeting. Well, I think you'll be just fine.
I haven't had one yet. I'm only 40. I'm about to turn 40, so it's coming up. It's on the radar for sure, but my wife's already said that she'll be booking herself into a hotel while I do the prep.
That's a little dramatic.
You haven't been around me when I'm pretty hungry. Let's just say that there's been some gas station hot dogs that have saved some relationships in my day.
So you also get hangry?
Oh, big time.
You and my wife, if you miss a meal or two, would be at each other's throats, I'd imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good luck next week, Josh.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun.
You know, it's not. Yeah, it's certainly not fun. I mean, the fear is always, of course, they're going to find something. But I was so nervous, I put it off for a while. I canceled appointments, everything after the first time. Hearing some, people saying some things. I didn't think it was bad at all. Nick, you didn't think it was bad at all. The worst part is just not eating, but that you can get past.
Right.
The prep, everyone's like, oh, the prep, it's miserable. I liked being on E for a bit, completely empty. I kind of like that feeling.
It's good for you.
Just cleaning out the tank.
Yeah, it's not. If you're worried about it, I understand. I didn't want to do it. Like I said, I canceled probably 3 appointments.
I'm sure they love that.
Oh, dude, I had to because of a work thing. I had to cancel my last one. I had one scheduled for in March, and they were not cool about me canceling that thing.
Bet not.
They can.
Because it takes like 6 months usually. They got me in earlier.
Don't let those people bother you, for Christ's sake. That's none of their business why you couldn't make it.
Dude, they were pissed.
I don't care if they were pissed. It's none of their damn business. I'm serious. I don't. So they got.
I told them, I was like, hey, nothing I can do. It's a work thing.
You don't have to tell them anything. You don't have to tell them a damn thing.
They wanted a reason.
I'm not coming in. Remember that appointment I made? Yeah, I'm not going to make it.
Dare you to do it again, Josh.
You don't need to explain anything to these friggin' people.
No, I want to get it over with.
So, how long has it been since you and I went in for our first colonoscopies?
3 years, almost exactly. Oh, I'm trying to, actually, how close were you to me?
I thought we were like a month or two apart.
Yeah, I remember it was relatively.
Yeah.
I went first, and then you went after.
Now, normally you'd only have to go every 5 years, but you're going 3 years now.
Yeah, they found some butt moguls.
They found some action
right
in there.
past the spokes.
Yeah.
They went past the spokes.
Don't say spokes.
Oh, they go past the spokes?
You taught me spokes.
I didn't teach you spokes. A listener taught you spokes.
Well, through you.
I read about.
I learned it from you.
You're right, but I was completely naive when I said spokes out loud when referring to a human anus, Ashley. Are you listening to what we're talking about? I didn't know what I was saying at the time. God, I wish I wouldn't have said it, because now it's become a regular part of our conversation, and it's difficult.
It is pretty gross.
They found some.
So they go past the spokes after they count the spokes, and then they count the polyps. And I had a few of those. So
That's scary.
he said every 3 years. Yeah, it's not fun.
Very scary.
A few people.
You may not return.
I have wondered that. There's been some worries. So a couple people are saying they have some colonoscopies coming up. One of them has it tomorrow. One of it has it Friday. Yeah, don't worry about it if you are. Seriously, you get once you're done. That's it.
That prep
and
that you
the
mentioned,
prep wasn't bad.
If you find a decent movie or a ball game, you'll get through it. Just
and I was half up during it, and it wasn't bad.
half up.
I was half awake.
Oh, I thought like you had a half chub.
I probably did. I don't know.
Have you picked out the meal you're going to have once you finally get that nightmare over with?
Funny you say. I was trying to think of that.
Mm-hmm. I feel like you got to make it something special, not kind of something outside of the routine.
I think you should eat spokes.
Oh, gross. I'll never do that. Never.
All right. That's part of our F off. Well, wait a minute. No, this is the F off. That's part of our week off. Next week, Josh will be backdoored by these people who give him all types of attitude on the telephone when he cancels a appointment. But that's the only real message I wanted to get out there by discussing F-off week. The only real message I wanted to get out there is we have next week off. Most other folks do not.
Well, there's people texting in saying they do as well.
The whole week?
Yeah.
Well, good for them. Today, Dr. P. Jesus is going to stop by and visit, speaking of violent anal procedures. Today, Dr. P. Jesus, who's probably dumped a few colonoscopies on fellers in his day, he will be stopping by to visit the program. So if any of you have a health concern, you can ask a doctor about it. You can text us a little bit later, and we'll see what the sumbitch has to say. Ashley, did you go see that new Final Destination movie over the weekend? You were talking a lot of trash last week.
No, I was going to, but I didn't get around to it.
What happened?
It can happen.
Instead, we stayed at home, actually, and watched a movie there. We went and got movie theater popcorn from the movie theater. If you didn't know you could do that, you can, and it's really cool.
I didn't know you can just go in, get some popcorn, and leave?
Yep. Oh, you go to the theater.
Yeah.
You say, I'd like some popcorn to go.
Yep.
I've never heard that story.
Peanut M&Ms, of course.
I've never heard that story before. I didn't think you could go to the movie theater and get food to go.
Yeah.
Oh, they love it. That's how they make their money.
Cool.
That's how they make their money.
Over the cost of movie tickets. A lot of that goes back to the studio. The concessions is straight profit.
What are you, working Hollywood or something?
Just know people who work in movie theaters, I guess.
That was one of my first jobs. I loved it. I loved working at a movie theater.
You would have been perfect for the gig. You're such a personable type of a guy.
I enjoyed it. I did a little bit of everything. I learned certainly how to commit every crime you can at a job. I chose to avoid it, but there's a couple older kids that are like, all right, lesson 1, this is how you break into a vending machine. Lesson 2, this is how you break into a video game. This is how you upsell tickets. This is how you cheat people out of popcorn. They taught me everything wrong to do.
Lucky you didn't turn out a complete animal. That's wonderful news because I love movie theater food. I had no idea you could just stop in and say, no, I didn't buy a ticket. I would just like this, this, and this. Well, I'll be damned.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Watched the movie Warfare. You can rent it on Amazon Prime. It's very good if you like war movies. Very good.
I do.
I love war movies. Well, there you go. I was only asking because you did make a mention last week how excited you were for the latest Final Destination release. And, of course, the premise of that movie series is ridiculous.
Yeah, of course.
How can we kill a character in the most original, elaborate, and repulsive way, right?
Yeah.
What's something that happens in movies that, in your opinion, is completely unrealistic and ridiculous? What comes to mind? Something that happens in a movie that's completely unrealistic and ridiculous. The one that came to mind for me right away, and we've talked about it a few times, of course, because, you know, you can't help but talk about motion pictures now and again. And this irks me. And, of course, the list is long, but this is what came to mind for me. When the star character or hero is an instant master of any motor vehicle you put in front of him or her.
Yeah, I'm
That's a great
100%
one.
in agreement. It's like, oh, he can fly a plane and he can ride a motorcycle. Oh, not only can he ride a motorcycle, he can jump a bridge on a motorcycle.
So talented.
He can drive a semi, a sports car.
Has he been shot 11 times, but yet he hopped into the cab of a tractor trailer and he's just...
He's an
Perfect.
expert.
He's the rubber
Flawless.
duck. You know, he's Snowman from Sparky and the Bandit. What the hell's the name of the... Right. When the hero is the master
By
of
the way,
any...
you made a Smokey and the Bandit reference?
Yeah.
Today's the anniversary of that movie.
Oh, wow.
Came out in 1977.
Oh, I know what year it came out.
I was just saying I know you know.
That is a wonderful thing to bring up, Josh, the anniversary of Smokey and the... So, okay, what else? What else happens in movies that you say, oh, for Christ's sake, because it's totally ridiculous and unrealistic?
There's Go ahead, sorry, Ash.
The first thing that came to my mind was like the nerd taking off her glasses and all of a sudden she's the hottest woman in the world.
Yeah. As if like Rachel Lee Cook and She's All That wasn't already just stunning. But then they put her in a prom dress. All of a sudden, they're like, "Whoa, she is hot!"
Oh,
I'd
so
say-
what is that?
frustrating.
What does that say to women who wear glasses?
Right?
Hey, just so you know, in movies, you're ugly.
Yeah. Oh, you paint pictures? You must be a total loser.
Here's one from the Brother and Sisterhood: guns that never run out of ammunition, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I count sometimes.
And this is kind of ticky-tacky, but it drives me crazy when people get tased and they're just knocked unconscious for about a week and a half. Tasers don't do that at all.
Okay. Tasers don't knock you out?
No, you're not knocked out. You've got 5 seconds of taking the ride, and then, you got enough time to get handcuffed, but they just knock people out in those.
Social media types have been having this conversation. You want to hear what they had to say on the topic of something that happens in movies that's unrealistic and ridiculous?
Well, I got one more I just thought of.
Yeah.
When somebody can take 15 shots to the face, and then maybe they'll throw a crowbar in there and they're not knocked out, that's when you get knocked out.
Dude, the main character can stay conscious forever, no matter what. Here are some of the other answers. Someone falls and catches the edge of a cliff or a building
Oh, yeah.
with just their finger tip.
Every time that happens.
Or tips, just, oh, God, you're just right on the, you've already fallen. All of your weight, all of your momentum is falling towards and you catch the fingertips and it holds, yeah, right.
Oh,
Every time I see that, I look at the person that I'm with, and I'm like, no, couldn't be me. Nope, I have no finger strength.
You don't have the finger strength for that.
No, I'd be dead.
It also, this is more the procedural, like cop shows on television, where, okay, we're going to raid this very dangerous home. Now, everybody's going to be having SWAT gear on, except for the main characters. We're going to go in there with a baseball cap and a handgun, and that's it. And by the way, we're leading the charge.
Yes.
And then everybody behind you dies. All the real trained SWAT professionals who have all the gear on and they have the better weapons, they're dead.
But dude who walked in first wearing a tank top.
Right, and flip-flops.
Yeah.
That is probably the best one. That happens so much in Criminal Minds. I've been watching that again, and it's every episode.
Funny you say that's the exact show I was thinking of. And it always bothered me about that show.
Why do you not have at least a bulletproof vest on?
Yeah, all the super trained cops are complete morons, but somehow those guys, they got to figure it out.
And then one of the guys, the really nerdy one, Reed, he has a revolver. Why would you would have a revolver?
Speaking of bullets, someone's going after all the bulletproof car doors in movies. All car doors are completely bulletproof. Air ducts are mentioned in this conversation of ridiculous, unrealistic movie stuff. Air ducts that can support the weight of a 200-pound man moving through them. Air ducts that aren't full of screws. Air ducts that can absorb the sound of a man moving around. Yeah, you never hear that.
No.
Big, massive, muscular person up and you never hear a damn thing.
It's not as easy as they made it look in Die Hard.
Getting pistol whipped, being knocked unconscious and waking up later and functioning normally as if nothing happened. You take the butt end of a revolver to the noggin, I bet you're done for a week.
Yeah, you're concussed.
Dude.
They have the makeup crew just put like that one little like red mark above like the eye or something like that to indicate that, yes, they did just get hit with a very heavy pistol.
This one gets mentioned a lot, and that is when the single hero fights a team of henchmen. Where am I going with this?
The henchmen either can't hit the broadside of a barn with a bullet, or the henchmen all take them on one at a time.
One at a time.
Okay.
Yep.
And I also like it when the bad guy's like, all right, I got the good guy cornered. I'm going to spell out my entire plan before I shoot him.
Right.
I'm going to go through the entire thing.
They go through every detail as to why they've reached this moment.
Just wasting time for the good guy to break free from the rope or something.
For the viewers, let's recap why I'm about to try and kill the hero.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, they always say, this didn't have to go this way. When we first met 30 years ago.
Oh, here we go.
And you sit there going, oh, for Christ's sake.
In case you didn't watch the first 90 minutes of the movie, let me get you up to speed, dear viewer.
I remember the first time I heard a punch in real life and how disappointed I was compared to the sound effects in movies.
Yeah.
I was like, that was barely a noise.
Christ. Watch a boxing match and then watch a Rocky movie. Watch a real boxing match and then watch a Rocky IV in particular. Maybe it was Rocky III. Rocky and Clubber Lang, when they connect with their punches, it sounds like a double-barrel shotgun. Right. The general lack of tiredness from characters in a movie.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody never needs a 20-minute cat nap in the middle of the day or anything like us mere mortals.
I just thought of one. This always comes to my mind, too, when I'm watching, I guess, apocalyptic type movies or TV shows. The woman always has her hair done and her makeup done. Like, oh, really? Where did she get her hands on some blush?
And the guy's always got that perfect 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, exactly.
And how come when defusing a bomb, somebody can't figure it out right away? Why does it have to get down to the last 1 second?
Yeah,
why can't it be like 15 seconds or something?
They need better training.
Unemployed bachelors. We're rolling through ridiculous, unrealistic things that happen in movies. Unemployed bachelors with spacious penthouse apartments in desirable locations.
I was just watching Big Daddy recently on like TBS, and it's very guilty of that. He has this massive, sprawling apartment and no job.
Yeah, that would be crazy expensive.
Man, just when you and I were starting to bond a little bit.
I know. I thought I was trying to think of another movie
just
I could
make up a different movie.
Right, yeah.
I love that movie.
But you got to go ahead and say you, again, watched Big Daddy.
I've probably seen that movie 50 times.
Oh, my God.
So cute. Except the ketchup scene.
Oh,
Ew.
the ketchup scene's disgusting.
Ew.
How come nobody says goodbye in movies, by the way, when they're on the phone?
Oh, they just do the cool guy hang up.
Yeah, they just finish a sentence and then they hang up. Nobody, there's no goodbye, talk to you later. Nice talking to you.
All that makes me think of is George and Diego in the movie Blow. Did you see Blow yet? We were talking about Blow recently, Ashley, and you said you never saw it, you said.
No, I don't think I
Goodbye.
I got around to that yet.
Goodbye.
Do some cocaine and
Goodbye.
watch Blow.
Goodbye. Bye. Bye. That's Diego to George. Josh, you'd play this role so perfectly in a movie. The computer hacker who's sitting in front of his computer, and he goes, right?
Yep.
And then you hear his fingers go, if you can hear that.
Yeah. That means he's typing.
All right.
Yeah.
And then he says, I'm in.
And oftentimes they're doing their hacking from like an odd location, like a bathroom stall at like a public place or something, and all of a sudden they've broken into Fort Knox or something through just some McDonald's Wi-Fi.
And a lot of times they're aggressively chewing gum or they have a sucker or something like that. Same with the guys that are cracking safes.
Yes.
You could be that guy. You could be that guy.
That would be kind of fun.
Because I've seen you solve problems quickly with your computer.
The only problem is that these are the guys that usually get killed. The computer guys.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they're going to be dismembered at one point or another.
You watch enough of those movies when they introduce the team, you can go through and go, yeah, dead. Probably not going to be
So
dead.
true.
But maybe that's going to be the shocking death.
Oh, yeah. When folks, this is kind of a pet peeve of mine, too. When folks order a meal in a movie, they eat just one bite and then they get the tab and leave. Or
That frustrates the heck out
I
of
mean,
me.
how many times on the television show Cheers did Frasier say, I'll take a drink, Sam? And he takes one sip and they have a quick conversation. And he says, well, I have to go get Lilith. Well, dude, you had one sip.
I know.
Why'd you even order
What are you
it?
doing?
Diesel Jesus, how about when tires start screeching on any surface, dirt road, wet grass, mud? Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
And also when the engine noise they choose does not match up with the car at all.
Oh, I would never notice that.
That Prius doesn't sound like a diesel truck. Why did they do that?
You want to hear tires screeching? We've got audio for you, don't we, from last week? If you want to hear the sound of real tires screeching, we could go back to last week.
My four sons, Jesus said, in the movie Titanic, when that boat sank, no way a boat like that could sink. No way. Yeah, they had a whole publicity campaign saying it wouldn't sink.
It's indestructible.
No one has to look for parking. Parking is just there.
Nobody ever has to stop for gas.
No one buys celery and baguettes every time they go to the grocery store, but in the movies, those two items are always sticking out the top of the bag, so everyone knows you're fresh from the grocery store.
Especially the baguette.
There's never like a toilet plunger hanging out the top of the bag. It's always the baguette and the celery.
It's always a couple things, too.
Finally, it says brushing teeth without toothpaste. I guess I don't watch movies as closely as others do. Brushing teeth.
I guess their mouth never gets all foamy and stuff like
My
that.
mouth doesn't get foamy. I can do it without
Oh,
getting foamy.
Oh yeah.
I can't, and I've been shamed for that lately.
that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody says, when there's a gun scene, no one reloads. Yep. I think someone mentioned that.
You can brush your teeth, Josh, without anyone knowing that you've just brushed your teeth?
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
jealous.
gosh, yeah. I get in the corners of my mouth, likely all over my shirt if I'm going somewhere fancy.
How much toothpaste you guys use?
Probably too much.
The normal amount, but I guess it really kicks in if I'm like scrubbing my tongue.
And if you're in a hurry, too, I've noticed that's when I really just destroy my shirt.
So you could keep a pretty good secret then, couldn't you, Cubby?
Oh, yeah. You'd never know. You'd never know. This one's good, too. Zoom in. Now enhance that image. Isolate that section. Enhance it more.
I didn't get that. What does that mean?
So, have you taken a photo where you zoom in and it sucks?
It always sucks.
So for some reason, there's as much detail as you'll ever need in every photo.
Yeah, it's even more clear when you zoom in somehow.
Yeah.
And they always find some evidence in the background?
Yeah.
Is that what they're saying?
Yep.
Okay. I think I follow that.
Yeah, I see that piece of paper, and they can read it clearly when it's crumpled up in his hand.
Yep.
They're taking it from about a block away.
I'll tell you what. There you go.
We used to have a guy in this building that would brush his teeth without toothpaste.
I do brush.
What's the point?
Well, no.
It still does something.
No, that dude, the dude who would brush his teeth in the bathroom?
Yeah.
Oh, he made a terrible mess when I was watching him.
Oh, I never saw him use toothpaste.
Oh, okay. Well, I brush my teeth without toothpaste once in a while at the house. I just didn't know what connection it had to movies there.
Just water? What?
Yeah, just a little rinsey rinse, you know. And I use too much.
Dana, don't you use an electric toothbrush?
It's not necessarily electric. It's just one of those battery-powered ones. Not nothing fancy, but just the one that's got a double A and it kind of spins a little bit.
I brush twice a day. I do, but like, say, Ashley, you seem confused on this.
Yeah.
If I have a big meal and I'm headed out the door to go Summers, I'm not going to add another toothbrushing to my day. I'll just go into the sink and little whippity-whip, get all the garbage out, and I move on. You following this? It's not that difficult.
Yeah, I get it. I usually use a little bit of toothpaste when I do that, though.
Oh.
I need that fresh feeling if I'm using my toothbrush.
Well, there you go.
But I use an electric toothbrush, Josh, and I still manage to make a mess.
Those things will kill you.
I was curious with Dana. He said he does it faster. And with that, you don't really even need to do it faster.
I know. My wife has told me, she goes, you brush your teeth like you're mad at them.
Well, that's how this guy we used to work with did. He hated his gums, I think. He was punishing his gums.
We got a hell of a deal ahead of us here. F-Off Week, the spring edition of our F-Off Week. I mentioned already that a little bit later on, Dr. P. Jesus is going to stop by. So if you have a question, get it ready to text our way. All around the 8 o'clock hour, but we'll give you a heads up. Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder, of course, going to join us. We'll take a minute or two to ourselves. We'll prepare the stupid news and have that going for you next on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Well, if it is our wonderful podcast listener, the ones that all of us on hams love the most. Dana here to give you a little gentle reminder to hit up our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning and tune up that AC before it fully turns into crotch soup season. June through August are Standard's busy season for getting AC units up to snuff, so get ahead of the curve and have them ensure you don't have a summer where you pit out every shirt you own. Book in May during their pre-summer heat savings event, and you'll beat the rush and save yourself some walking around money. Call Standard Heating today or visit standardheating.com. Enjoy the show. We sincerely appreciate you checking us out each and every day.
This episode brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can get a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
This is a mini meditation guided by Bombas. Repeat after me. I'm comfy. I'm cozy. I have 0 blisters on my toes. And that's because I wear Bombas, the softest socks, underwear, and t-shirts that give back. One purchased equals one donated. Now go to bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN at checkout.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah, we were having a conversation earlier about unrealistic, ridiculous movie stuff. The unrealistic, ridiculous things that happen in movies where you go, come on. That car can't roll 66 times and everyone walks away from that accident. That gun doesn't hold 2 million bullet, that kind of stuff. Ridiculous movie things. Here's a couple more text messages on the topic. The hero, according to one listener, the hero never has to eat, take a Duke, or take a whiz. No, you never see Rambo say, hang on a second, boys.
One of my favorite things about Reacher, that I know, Josh, you watch that too, is that the main character, he actually eats. They make a point
Okay.
to make sure we know, like, hey, this guy likes to eat food.
And he's a big dude. He needs his protein,
Yeah,
actually.
he needs his calories, for sure.
I like that in shows where there's a character that's always eating. I
Yeah.
always think that's pretty funny.
It's
and in
just a cute little thing.
in season 1, Reacher just wanted a piece of pie. Remember that?
Gosh, yeah. And then I think the next season, his thing was cereal.
In movies, one of our listeners has to say via text, after sex, men and women just pull up their pants and underwears and go about their business. Isn't there some cleanup needed? Sometimes.
Oh,
Sometimes you can just tuck it away and go, though.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
In a pinch.
In your case, Nick, especially if the husband comes home.
Oh,
You're
God.
gonna get out of there as quick as
you ain't got no time to grab a towel. Yeah, you got to get the hell out of there. This one gets very specific here, and I find it interesting that one of our listeners has noticed this. Hated movie trope, they say. Every kid in a horror movie has some kind of asthma or medical condition that makes them a complete burden on the whole family. I suppose, yeah, there's usually, little Donnie. We got to go back in the house and get Donnie.
so true.
We finally escaped Satan, from this house. But I forgot, Donnie.
Dude, every time.
Our youngest child, Donnie, has pink eye, and we need to go.
we need his medication.
Yes, we got to get his meds.
Well, sometimes it's that very ailment that solves whatever's going on, right? Like the movie Signs, or the movie. What's the one John Krasinski did?
The Quiet Place.
Yeah, The Quiet Place.
Okay,
it's the
I remember
ailment of the kid that helps save lives.
I don't remember A Quiet Place, but what was going on in Signs?
Something I can't remember. Something with I gotta look that up. Like water. Something. It was something.
The youngest
little
kid
girl.
in Signs, the youngest kid in Signs, or the youngest boy, did have asthma, did he not, in Signs?
Jeez, I haven't seen it. Since
Remember that?
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
that movie, that's one of the movies that like messed me up when I was a kid. I just looked it up because I wanted to make sure it was that one, and they're like watching a video of some place in town. I think they're watching the news, and the alien like walks by an alleyway. That messed me up for a while as a kid. Scariest movie scene ever.
I remember that.
Wonder Beard Jesus. This is very today. How come they never have to charge their cell phones? That's true.
Yep.
The phone's always going to work.
All right, let's give this stupid news gimmick another run here and see what happens. For starters, we got a total horror show here. Total horror show. Cubby, nicest guy in the county. You've had your house broken smooth into once or twice. We've talked about it. I don't know how you kept it together in the aftermath. I don't know how you kept it together. I would go nuclear. I'd be so pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unpleasant, but you're right. I didn't get too crazy.
Here's a break-in that got more and more effed up. A feller living out there, Summers near Los Angeles, California. That was his first mistake. He came home last Saturday after being out of town for a couple of days. And you know how you might operate. He walks on into his home after being out of town for a couple days. And he saw that his house had been ransacked. As he strolled around his crib, checking out all the damage, he walked up on a total nightmare. A naked dude sleeping in his bed. See, for me, right there, I was just talking about how Josh was able to keep his composure in the aftermath of some of these break-ins that he's endured. If I come back to my house and there's a strange naked guy in my bed, asleep, just the sight of some other guy's dong and nuts being grinded into the sheets of my bed, I'd end up grabbing a chainsaw and I would attempt to dismember that guy right on sight.
Well, that's a lot different than coming home and your house has been broken into and everybody's gone, right? Not much you can do there, but you're right. If somebody's in there, that's exactly on their way out, you're going to want to put them in the basement.
Yeah, that's a whole different level.
Take a little revenge.
The unlucky bastard homeowner dude who walked in and found this naked man's carcass laid out on his bed. He called the cops, They showed up. They tuned up the naked dude real good, and then they arrested him. After the cops left, sorry, I should go this direction first. The cops found little baggies all over the house that the naked dude had left behind that were obviously at one point filled with some type of hard street drugs. So this was some derelict addict that he had in his home. After the cops left, the homeowner guy continued to find strange things around his house. The naked dude had apparently deep-throated an entire box of ice cream sandwiches while he was there.
When's the last time anyone here had an ice cream sandwich?
Oh, it's been a really long time.
I've had those drumsticks quite a bit lately.
An ice cream sandwich, Josh, it's been a while. One of my favorite treats. I would, much like this dope fiend, I would clean out a box of those damn things before you can say Jack Robinson.
Oh, you wouldn't get a tummy ache or nothing?
I'm sure I would, but I love
Be worth
them.
it?
I'm sure I would get sick or at least feel ill, but I lust after those damn things.
I get made fun of for the way I eat them.
Oh, no.
I
Do you
guess
do it sideways or something? Or
Yeah, like
Anally.
I kind of like just lick around the edges.
Oh, everyone licks around the edges.
Yeah, and I do it like the whole time, and every time.
Well, then tell these people to shut up.
Yeah, and I'm like, what's the problem? That's what you're supposed to do. I've been accused of it being childish.
Everyone sort of performs cunnilingus on the side of their ice cream sandwiches.
That's the best part.
That's the best part is the what's the word I'm looking for, Josh?
I'm not sure where you're going with that.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to do is to follow up a hot dog sandwich with an ice cream sandwich. If there's anything you want to get off your mind, 651-989-9393. That's the Luther Bloomington Kia text line. If I could just repeat that, I love following up a nice hot dog sandwich with an ice cream sandwich.
What could go wrong? Who could get anything out of that statement? The word I was looking for is, that's the best part, is the simulated is the word I was looking for, cunnilingus, while eating an ice cream sandwich.
Yeah.
My wife, when she eats anything with a spoon, ice cream, well, I guess maybe I'll say a treat, I guess mostly. She flips it upside down. And for whatever reason, that irk is a strong word, but I notice it and think, what are you doing there?
I like to do that too.
You do that as well?
She turns the spoon upside down before she puts it in her oral cavity?
Yeah, she puts it in and just kind of like licks the stuff out.
Yeah, it's because it just like fits your tongue better.
Yeah.
I might be a little irritated by that. If it's every time, every scoop, she does that routine?
Every time. And sometimes it goes in and then you flip.
Right.
Yeah, that's what you got to do with like things like soup.
That's kind of soup.
Yeah.
Wait,
Flip it.
soup?
Flip it.
How do you flip the
soup?
How do you flip?
No, once it's in your mouth.
Oh.
Yeah, when before I take the spoon out, that's what I do.
But why was soup? Isn't it all
Yeah, why
gone?
was soup?
I just I don't know, maybe it's just the feeling of like your tongue fitting perfectly in the spoon.
So this junkie cleaned out an entire box of ice cream sandwiches while he was in a total stranger's home, high on drugs. He had cooked up a couple of veggie burgers.
I mean, to each their own.
Whose neck was that?
Who was that?
I don't think it was me. No, it wasn't me.
That had to have been Dana.
Dana,
What was what?
you didn't hear that?
No.
Oh my gosh, you have an alien in you.
Oh, shoot. I might have to call a doctor.
You didn't hear that deep guttural neck burp?
No.
It sounded like, there was some sort of giant tapeworm trying to get out.
You could feel it.
Let him out, Dana.
All right. Dude ate up all the ice cream sandwiches, cooked a couple veggie burgers, and the naked dude had gone through all of the chewing gum in the house. And you might be saying, well, how much chewing gum does it? Well, it was a lot. Naked dude had blown through 60 pieces of chewing gum. Dude keeps a lot of gum in the house. Let it go. And once he had sucked up all the flavor out of the gum, once he chewed on it and got all the flavor out of the gum with his disgusting meth mouth, he spit out the gum and created a massive gum wad the size of a softball. He left that behind.
I was thinking about that. So, does his mouth reticulate? Is that the right word? Is it get that big? Or is he just kind of like making one, like one at a time?
I think he was making it one at a
It
time.
had to have been, right?
Yeah. Only Rod Carew could maybe fit that.
Oh, his mouth is probably so sore. His jaw.
He didn't feel a thing.
That stresses me. Oh,
He was high on
drugs.
something.
Drugs, yeah.
Had to have been.
Oh, that's probably why he needed the gum. Yeah.
Right. I
Gotta
imagine
keep your mouth busy.
it had something.
Oh.
The drugs probably had everything to do with his diet during that couple of days where he was in the guy's house. A whole box of friggin' ice cream sandwiches, 2 veggie burgers, and all the chewing gum in the house.
At least he's getting the veggie burgers. That's a good. Ew, I don't like that.
Yeah, it was just that.
That's what your neck sounded like, Dana, a few minutes ago. Yeah. But wetter, Josh said.
Yeah, it was a little more wet, like kind of a slimy wet, though.
Maybe the most bizarre discovery the homeowner made was when he walked out to his back patio, he saw that the drugged up naked dude had killed a possum on the patio by bashing its brains in with a lawn ornament statue type of a thing.
Oh my gosh. That's terrible.
Here's the homeowner talking about it.
Completely naked, sleeping in my bed. I was shocked, like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and someone sleeping in my bed, said the little bear. He ate a box of ice cream sandwiches. He ate Dole Whip, a whole box of Beyond Beef burgers. He stuck in the microwave, cooked them, and then ate them. And then spit a big wad of gum the size of a softball, like on my kitchen table.
Those Dole Whips are good.
Oh, yeah, they are.
I turned my microphone off. The police are still investigating this effing deal. The homeowner is out shopping, they say here, for brand new bedding.
Yeah.
I might just get a new mattress at that point. Just everything.
Everything.
Not a bad idea.
All of it.
He really wanted to use that
Frame.
Goldilocks
Even
reference.
the frame. Goldilocks, what?
Yeah, he really wanted to use that.
I missed it. He made a Goldilocks reference?
Yeah.
What did he say?
Well, he's a broadcaster, right?
He's
so
a
I imagine he
broadcaster.
was probably. Oh no! How did that happen?
Trying to get his little joke in there.
Yeah, he wanted to.
Yeah, he knew it would make a soundbite.
Yeah,
He's,
this
he's
right here.
Completely naked, sleeping in my bed. I was shocked, like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and someone sleeping in my bed, said the little bear.
I don't know how the hell I missed that.
Said the little bear.
Is he a radio broadcaster?
No, I think he's a sports guy, maybe television.
What a dork. Poor guy, though. That sucks. No one deserves that nightmare.
Yeah, I'd be a little weirded out in that house just thinking, what am I going to find next?
Right.
Yeah, the gum would really freak me out.
Like, did he find a way to take a dump in my, the vents or something?
Just a big wad of chewing.
The possum might freak me out a little bit. What he did to
Oh
that
my
thing.
gosh, I already forgot about that. I must have tried to block that out.
He killed that damn thing dead. He did.
Oh, those are vicious too. That's crazy. That's a pretty good fight.
Just a few days ago, we went back and forth on themed parties, something that the college kids get involved in. One of the themes was something called an anything but clothes party. Anything but clothes. And the bit is, if you don't know, you got to wear something to the party to cover up your beautiful body, but it must be anything but traditional clothing. So duct tape, body paint, empty beer cases, whatever. Keep this in mind, young people. If an anything but clothes party comes up soon, Arby's is selling an $85 outfit made entirely of napkins. And Arby's has put this gimmick together to help promote their new line of barbecue sandwiches.
Looks pretty fresh.
It's a button-down shirt and a matching pair of shorts, which are made entirely of napkins. Arby's calls the outfit the 13-hour drip fit.
Cute.
And it says here both the shirt and shorts are white, and the explanation behind that goes like this. What fun is it to drop sauce on an outfit that won't let you revel in the mess, is what they say, which kind of turns my stomach. I always get a little sickened when I see a food stain on somebody's clothing. It bothers me.
I get it.
And anyone who knew my dad, you're probably wondering, well, how the hell did you spend 10 minutes with him? My dad was always wearing what he had for dinner. Always. Like I said, Arby's wants $85 in trade. So you're saying it's a good-looking outfit?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
You can see it on our website on 93x.com.
I've got a buddy. You mentioned your dad. I have a buddy who he's my age. He's 50, and he still gets food all over his face and body when he eats. And sometimes it's foods that you're wondering, how did that even happen?
I'm pretty good at doing that.
And how do you not know that it's all, like you don't feel anything?
How do you not know?
I think his face is dead.
If I had a dime every time I asked my dad, how did you not realize that you have piles of food all over your face? How do you not realize it? But I think from the cigarette smoking, it numbed his face over time. At least I've heard that theory about cigarette smoke or cigarettes. Yeah, that was one theory that I heard. I don't know, and he didn't care. And that's probably why. Growing up, watching my dad covered in every meal he ever consumed is probably why, and it's all over his clothing, probably why I get so irritated, sickened by the sight of stains, food stains. It troubles me.
The last time with my buddy, he had somehow got food like on the back of his jaw and a little bit behind his ear. So I don't know if he had it on his hand and he scratched or what. I didn't see what led to that, but I'm trying to figure out, how does that even happen?
I've seen it all. And it just... My dad's side of the family, table manners were never even an option. Never. The conversation never came up with my dad's side of the family. There's not one of them who didn't eat like they were at a trough.
Back to theme parties real quick. You mentioned that conversation we had last week, the ABC, anything but clothes parties, corporate hoes and CEOs. We kind of hit all the big ones, but a buddy of mine who listens to the podcast reminded me of one I forgot. This was so stupid, but it was actually kind of genius. He said they lived in one of the party houses in St. Cloud that threw the big parties, and it was kind of always a competition. You wanted to have the most people, the most babes, the most booze and stuff. So they're trying to think outside the box, and my buddy says, hey, spread the word on Saturday night, we're having a candy necklace party. I go, well, what the hell's a candy necklace party? He goes, exactly. People will hear and they'll show up because they want to know what a candy necklace party is.
And it worked?
Yeah. They got like a 500 box of candy necklaces, handed them out. As you can imagine, a candy necklace, a lot of hickeys, and, people kind of Lady and the Tramping a candy necklace.
But there were people that didn't understand what a candy necklace party was?
Well, like they thought the ideal was that people would think there's got to be something more to it than just you're going to get handed a candy necklace.
I'll be disappointed, I think. But then again, once you're in and you got your beer glass, you might as well stick around.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like those things.
I love Arby's, but I love a lot of fast food restaurants. I just don't think I'd ever allow any of them to dress me. You know what I mean? So I don't think I'll be buying the napkin.
It looks pretty comfy. Honestly, if it wasn't $85, I might think about it, but...
I got an uncle that won't pay. He'll never buy anything with a name brand on it. I mean, he thinks that if he walks around, everybody's going to be wanting to buy that, or I don't know what. I'm not going to walk around
some
with
kind
a
of
billboard
stance against corporate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who cares?
It's that what it is, Josh? It's
That's
like
exactly it.
Yeah. He's not going to be advertising for any that whole.
Instead of hey, you like this or that, you don't mind. Why does that bother you so much?
Right. People get effed up ideas.
Oh, he's got some ideas.
For Christ's sake.
He's got a lot of ideas.
What do we got now? What do we got? Oh. This here deal is a little bit of a confusing mess. I didn't think it was necessary to get into the details, but we might be able to use the headline to get our text machine cooking. The headline goes like this here. A man was wrongly accused, for a second time actually, over a misspelling of his name. Wrongly accused of a crime over the misspelling of his name. And that sucks and all that. It was something like his name is Mark. He spells it M-A-R-C. The bad guy spelled it M-A-R-K. And there was some, you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
I was curious. Have any of you in our listening audience been falsely accused of something, whether it be a small issue or something more serious? If you think it's an interesting story, we'd like to hear about it. Text us at the number 651-989-9393. Have you ever been falsely accused of something? It would be especially cool to hear from people who are able to prove their innocence. But whether it be big or small, the thought just crossed my mind. Anyone in our listening audience who's ever been falsely accused of something, whatever you got, we'd like to hear about it. The big one for me was when I was falsely accused of setting our high school on fire when we were 10th graders. That was a stressful situation. I got pulled into the principal's office. There was the principal, there was the superintendent, there was the chief of police, and there was the fire chief from my hometown, accusing me of setting the high school on fire, which really did happen. And yes, it was my friend who set the high school on fire, and yes, I was there. I saw him light it, but it wasn't me. And they didn't want to believe it for the longest time. Oh, I was sweating it out. And I never snitched, Ashley.
No, you can't do that. Not in the 10th grade. You would have been bullied merciful. You know what word I'm trying to say.
No, I
Thank
don't
you.
know.
Yeah, I have such a guilty conscience. I've been accused of being a part of a group of people that have done something. And I know that I seem guilty as hell. Even though I might have nothing to do with it, I certainly have that issue where I feel guilty even though I had nothing to do with it.
You might just crack and say, fine, it was me.
A couple times.
Just to take the pressure off.
No way. What?
The one that I was easy enough to get out of is I got, I've mentioned this before, but I got a ticket in the mail for blowing through a bus stop sign, a school bus stop sign. And where it was, I never have driven over there in my entire life, but it was the time of day I was going to school. And it was a very similar car to what I was driving, and there was a one number off on the license plate. So I can understand why they would make that mistake. It was easy enough to prove that. I mean, I used to take my friends to school, so everybody knew, which way I was going and everything. And there'd be no reason for me to go over there.
And I can totally understand how your personality, your guilty conscience, just your need to end the conflict, where you might sit there and go, for Christ's sake, maybe I am guilty. You know what I mean?
And I always try and listen to what somebody has to say. So I think, maybe I forgot. I want to take responsibility if it was me. I don't think I did that.
All of what these people are accusing me of makes perfect sense. Maybe it was
the
me.
The assailant is 6'4", you're saying. And he has a Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not that tall and I don't have that vehicle, but maybe I did.
Have you ever been falsely accused of something? Text us, 651-989-9393.
That's just a really frustrating situation to be in, even if it's something small.
Sometimes they're just throwing darts, right? Like at school. They're just going to pick a few people and just see what they come up with, because maybe if this person didn't do it, they know who did it.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My youngest was a part of something like that not too long ago.
All right. Look forward to seeing your text messages. Parents are different these days. Here's the situation this time around. What the hell was that?
What was that?
That was Dana drinking.
It was me taking a sip of water.
Was that your
Was it
ice
really?
cubes?
What's with the oral noises over there?
You should you got to figure something out over there.
My bad.
All right. Here's the situation this time around with parents. A lady.
Ugh, I hate that noise, dude.
Everyone's just sucking on their water bottles, and there's ice cubes and liquid. A lady went on over to that Facebook to tell a little story and get some effing feedback. Okay, that's the situation. What am I saying here? Okay, yes. This lady read something on Facebook that had her confused. And so she's asking people, what do you make of this? So the lady said this here. She said, I got an invitation through Facebook from one of my kids' friends' moms about an upcoming birthday for a kid. My child has gone to their parties before, and they've come to ours. She opened the invite, expecting to see the usual this and that, a date for the party, time, location, theme. Here we are again with themes.
Yep.
But that's not what she found. Instead, it just says they're deciding to try an online birthday party. Now, the way that works is you just order the kid a birthday gift and have it sent to their house.
That's pretty bold.
And only that?
That's it.
Have you guys been invited to something where the invite, there's no way you could make it? It's out of state or whatever, and it's a minor thing like a birthday party. And not even a milestone birthday party. It's just, let's say, 31 years old. Right?
Yep.
And it's just to send a gift because here's a link to the registry?
I will never do that.
I've never suspected
You've never had that happen?
No.
Oh, I've had that happen a couple times.
I've had it happen, but I'll like, no, I'm not sending you a gift. No.
You're saying the people who are organizing this know that nobody can make it on this?
Well, I don't know about nobody, but certain people, they're very well aware there's no way they're going to be able to make that.
Okay. But they're trying to wrangle a gift out of you anyway.
What makes it easy to figure out when they send you their Amazon wish list or something like that?
Oh, well, that comes into play here, I think. So again, a gal opens up an invite to a party, but it's not going to be hosted at a house. There's no time, there's no date. Instead, they're just calling it an online birthday party. And what you do is you send a gift to the birthday kid. And the lady who received the invite, she wondered to herself, is this a new thing that people are doing? And I guess the answer is no, it's not.
Good.
The
Thank
invite,
God.
here you go, Josh. The invite also came with a list of gift suggestions for the child. A list of the things the child likes, and the invitation ends with, or you can always Venmo her some money.
Oh, God.
That's pretty douchey.
That is. The lady posted, she said, sending out invitations for classmates just to send her gifts? I don't know. Is this a new way of celebrating birthdays that I've just never heard about? You skip the party and just ask for stuff? So the word is the little birthday girl wanted to go to a hotel for the weekend instead of having a party. So mom sent out ways everyone could make sure to still give her presents. Yeah, that sounds pretty ridiculous to me. It sounds
not
like
how it works.
What it sounds like is a parent who does not know how to say no to their child, and I see a lot of that. Mom, I don't want to have a birthday party. I want to go to a hotel and go down the water slide. Well, if you're going to go to the hotel and go down the water slide, then people aren't going to give you gifts because it's just at the... But you need to come up with a way where people can still get me gifts. Okay, settle down, I will. That's what it sounds like to me.
It also kind of sounds like you don't really respect anybody else whatsoever. I mean, maybe you can't say no to your kid, but I have no respect for anyone.
Online social media folks who read about this new gimmick were annoyed.
As they should be. I have nothing to do with it, and I find that pretty annoying.
Yeah.
They thought it was a stupid, self-centered idea. One person posted, "Oh, I'm sorry, our dog is also having a virtual birthday party on the same day. We can't make it." The mom who sent out the invites, hoping folks would send her kid birthday presents, despite not hosting an actual birthday party, didn't just send this message to a handful of close friends and family. She apparently sent this out to everyone on her Facebook friends list.
Oh, man.
Which a lot of folks feel adds to the sleaziness of it all.
I was just reminded from a buddy of another time we were falsely accused of something, and I was really nervous about this one because the cops got involved. We were out, we just at a park hanging out. It was, I don't know, maybe 10 o'clock at night. We were in high school, and cops show up, and they're like, "Hey, we know you guys vandalized this church down the road." And we didn't. We had nothing to do with it. And we were trying to explain it to them. They didn't believe us. They put us in the back of the squad car, take us over to the church, and somebody did throw rocks through the windows.
Dude.
And I have no way. We didn't hear anything. We didn't see anything, nothing. And so then they were like, "Well, we're going to go tell your parents," right?
No.
And so they took us to my friend's house, and they kept trying to get us to admit to it, but there was nothing we could admit because we didn't know anything about it. And eventually they just let us go because they realized they were fishing, right? They were. We were kids in the area, so I could see why we'd raise suspicion. And probably about the age of somebody that would do something like that. But I thought for sure, oh my God, I'm going to jail. And a church.
Oh, yeah, your parents would have killed you.
Oh, the Catholic guilt. I thought there's no way I would be involved in something like that.
Tossing rocks through the church windows.
Somebody got that church pretty good.
It's no fun to be falsely accused. And like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing these damn text messages. Again, if you've been falsely accused of something, whether you were a kid, whether it was little, whether it was something large, we'd love to hear about it. We got to take a break. We're going to check with the sports here in a few minutes on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
That escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah, I stabbed a man in the heart.
I saw that. Brick killed a guy. Did you throw a trident?
Yeah, there were horses and a man on fire, and I killed a guy with a trident.
On 93X.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Before we continue with this telecast, we have to address what is on everybody's minds and hearts. It was more than just a scoreboard. It was a legend, an unforgettable icon. Its name, once met with chuckles, quickly became synonymous with good times and fierce rivalries. As the final out arrives on its bright and brilliant run, it will be missed. Gone, but never forgotten.
See, now this gimmick is new to me. I'm on sports websites a lot, obviously, and I keep hearing about score bug this, score bug that, the score bug.
I'd never heard that term until last year.
And now everybody's talking about it. Everyone's talking about it. Now, in this particular situation, this was popular with Pirates and Phillies fans. When those two teams would play, you'd turn on the television and they'd have the P logo for the Phillies and the P logo for the Pirates, and in between those two logos, at the beginning of a game, obviously, it would be 0-0, and it spelled the word poop.
People love the poop score bug.
People couldn't get enough of it. It was the funniest thing in the world, but they've gotten rid of it?
Yeah, it's all done.
Why? Or like how? How are they doing it differently so where they'll no longer have a poop score bug when the Pirates are playing the Phillies?
Yeah, I'm not 100.
I think they're stacked now, not side by side.
Yeah.
Oh, so the score will be under the logos now. Come on.
Right, yeah, they're on top of each other.
It's a popular shirt. You see it at ballparks a lot.
This is all new to me. So they've deleted it because too many people were poking fun at it, and there was an emotional goodbye on the telecast a day or two ago.
I wonder if they'll bring it back. Just because how much people love it, and just the fact that they're the broadcast, like you mentioned, they had a whole eulogy for it.
Just simply, the spelling of the word poop on television becomes the hottest thing in sports.
Yeah, it's just silly.
The hottest thing since typing boobless into your calculator back in the day.
Oh,
wait,
man.
I thought there was a score bug deal with the Wild. I got to look that up.
The Wild? All right.
It spelled something dirty. Maybe somebody can help me with that.
Well, maybe there's an M or a W there for the Wild. Did they spell wood or?
No, it was something more creative.
All right. You'll have to tell me if you find anything there, Cubby. The Twins' 13-game win streak ended yesterday in Milwaukee. But what a run the boys went on. Lost yesterday 5-2. Now, this is a big series starting tonight at home against a division rival, the Cleveland Guardians, who are right there with the Twins in the middle of their division standings, the American League Central. Twins did climb up to second place during this win streak, which we were all saying, they're not gaining any ground. Well, they finally gained a little ground. Cleveland's right behind them, and here we go. They start a series tonight. What'd you find, Cubby?
All right, thank you to the Brother and Sisterhood. When Seattle and Minnesota played, Seattle was first in the score bug, followed by Minnesota. Seaman.
Ah, yeah.
That's what it was. A lot of text coming in on that. That's what it was.
You got your S-E and you got your M-N.
S-E-A-M-I-N.
Oh, S-E-A. Oh, yeah. I didn't think they'd go further than two letters when you... Well, that is just brilliant right there. Absolute brilliance. So, it's going to be Oklahoma City. And I'm aggravated already. Because they're very good. It's going to be the Wolves in Oklahoma City. We'll get back to you. We'll give you more on that when Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder join us in about a half hour. Oklahoma City came out of that Denver series. Bastards. Starts tomorrow night. We can also, a little bit later, we can talk about how Hulk Hogan is trying to save Hooters.
If there's one man to do it.
Do you count on a guy like Hogan to
I bet he could.
Yeah.
You think he could do it?
He has a successful history in the restaurant business. So, why not?
Yeah. He's never dropped the ball on anything.
No.
He's never made any mistakes. Hulk Hogan? No, he's got a spotless record.
There's a pasta mania in every town.
Oh, my God. It took the world by storm. Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder in a half hour. Don't go anywhere because my life partner, Cubby's News Report, is coming up next.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Well, if it isn't our wonderful podcast listeners, the ones that all of us on Hams love the most. Dana here to give you a little gentle reminder to hit up our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning and tune up that AC before it fully turns into crotch soup season. June through August are Standard's busy season for getting AC units up to snuff, so get ahead of the curve and have them ensure you don't have a summer where you pit out every shirt you own. Book in May during their pre-summer heat savings event, and you'll beat the rush and save yourself some walking around money. Call Standard Heating today or visit at standardheating.com. Enjoy the show. We sincerely appreciate you checking us out each and every day.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like aloe or skins, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and brilliant marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. With Shop Pay, that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts are going abandoned and way more sales happening. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell whatever your customers are scrolling or strolling on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Skins uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
I don't even know why she would play around like that. I don't even understand that. I really don't.
49-year-old Florida woman was arrested after shooting her husband while belting out the lyrics to Saliva's hard rock hit, Click, Click, Boom.
Add a little flavor to the crime, huh?
Dusty Southwell called 911. Yeah, cool, huh?
That's a dude?
No, it's a girl.
Oh.
About 6:30 p.m. Wednesday, told dispatchers her husband had been shot, later admitting, quote, "I pulled the trigger." According to investigators, Dusty said her husband of 10 years was in the shower when she grabbed his handgun and started singing the song they often sang together. He just stepped out, still drying off with a towel, when she aimed the weapon, believing it to be unloaded, and fired once, hitting him. The arrest affidavit said Dusty checked on her husband, called her daughter, then dialed 911. Authorities say she intentionally fired the handgun in his direction in an act imminently dangerous and of depraved mind, though not premeditated. Dusty has insisted there was no fight, no heated argument before the shooting, and she has since pleaded not guilty.
Well, I'll tell you what, Cubby. If I was dating a gal that knew the lyrics to Saliva songs, I would expect there to be some darkness in that relationship. You know what I mean?
There'd be some volatility.
Yeah.
A love triangle turned into a hot lead triangle after a 34-year-old reportedly went from scorned to armed and dangerous after catching her boyfriend in a compromising position with someone decidedly not her. A hushed 911 call came in from an apartment building in Las Vegas Thursday, May 8th. "Please come. Someone is shooting," the caller whispered to dispatchers. Police arrived to find a man bleeding in a nearby alley. He told officers his girlfriend, Jessica Kennedy, had shot him. Meanwhile, a neighbor told police she heard the shots and noticed several bullets had made uninvited appearances through her apartment wall, one nearly introducing itself to her child. Surveillance footage gave officers a clearer picture. A woman, identified as Kennedy, is seen banging on a door with a gun, shouting, "You want to play with me?" before firing. Moments later, she walked to another door and says, "That felt good. I'ma kill you, mother effer," and then pulled the trigger again. When questioned by police, she admitted she'd recently bought a gun off the street for, quote, protection. She said she came home to find her boyfriend mid-coitus with another woman. And though she tried to walk away, he allegedly antagonized her. So she reminded him hell hath no fury like a woman scorned who's also holding a semi-automatic.
Yeah.
Despite taking a bullet while banging, the boyfriend is expected to survive.
Damn.
A 37-year-old woman in Greece ended her 12-year marriage after ChatGPT, interpreting coffee grounds fortune-telling style, told her that her husband was cheating. The couple had jumped into the quirky social media trend where people upload photos of coffee grounds for AI to read like a digital fortune teller.
I've never heard of this before.
Yeah, this was new to me as well.
Okay.
Just for fun, she snapped photos of both their cups and asked ChatGPT to interpret them. And what came back blew up their marriage. The AI's reading claimed her husband was fantasizing about a mysterious woman. Her name supposedly started with E, and that he was on the verge of starting a relationship with E. Okay. Worse still, the wife's cup suggested he was already having an affair, and that this E woman was trying to destroy their family.
You're trying to destroy my family.
That made her furious enough to file for divorce without even asking if it was true. I thought it was a joke, the husband said during a morning TV appearance, but she took it seriously.
This guy ended up on the talk shows over this?
Yeah. Which means maybe it's fake, but he claims it's true, and they did get divorced. She asked me to leave, told our kids we were getting divorced, and then I got a call from a lawyer, he said. Just 3 days after the AI's coffee reading, he was served the papers. The confused ex-husband blames ChatGPT for ruining his life over a cup of coffee.
People are really doing this. They're looking at their coffee grounds.
I guess so.
That's really interesting.
I was in New York City once with a girlfriend. This was a number of years ago, and
how was she in bed?
She was, that was the reason why we stayed through the dysfunction for a very long time, Nick.
I like the fact that you had the balls to say something. I thought you'd lock up now that you're a married guy. Good for you.
But anyway, we're walking by and this...
Oh, no, it just dawned on him what you said.
Is that what that little pause was about?
The pause was, oh my God, what have I done?
Oh, that's right. She listens to this program, doesn't she?
I'll tell you what.
Anyway, we're walking by, and some fortune tellers, barking from the steps of their spot. Come on in. We'll read your fortune. We'll read this. We'll do that. We'll tell you how you guys are going to be. And we go, this could be kind of fun, whatever. Let's do it. We're on vacation. We go in there, and she starts turning cards over. She goes, oh, no. Oh, no. The energy all off. This relationship, you guys aren't married, are you? We're like, no. It's going to end in disaster. It really is. And we walk out there like, well, that's kind of a buzzkill.
Did it, dead meat? Sorry, Dana. Did it end in disaster?
Very much so, yes.
A 23-year-old Kentucky woman was arrested last Monday after allegedly recruiting a 41-year-old named Gary Ross to shoot a man she'd recently argued with over her dog. That afternoon, things went from bark to bang when the duo drove to a Wendy's, not for burgers, but for bullets, targeting a man that Bagwell had previously argued with over her off-leash dog. Police arrived that afternoon to find the victim, a man in his 20s, nursing fresh lead-based piercings to his arm and rear. The bullets got him in the biceps and buttocks. Police say the incident began after Carrington Bagwell's dog got loose earlier that day, and when she tried to retrieve it, she and the victim got into a shouting match. Furious, she went home, filled Ross in on the drama, and the two returned to the Wendy's.
Yeah, let's tell my violent boyfriend husband what happened, right?
That's what she wanted.
Right.
She wanted him to go off. After another argument turned physical, Ross, reportedly at Bagwell's urging, opened fire. After shooting the victim, he fled the scene with great bravery before officers arrived. The victim is said to be okay despite the new holes to his wing and butt.
It's incredible what will lead folks to deadly violence. Is it not, Josh?
Yeah, you'd think maybe the guy would say, hey, that's a crappy situation. Sorry, but we can move on from this.
No, there's no moving on anymore.
No, you're right. A 37-year-old former Northfield Middle School teacher is accused of sending sexual photos of herself to high school students. And a 33-year-old former school resource officer is accused of covering it up. Charging documents say a student came forward in December to report the teacher was sending photos via Snapchat, and she had some of the photos on her phone. The student estimated the teacher was communicating with a dozen boys, charges say. An officer interviewed one of the boys who said he received photos from the teacher. The boy believed some of the photos were taken inside the school building even. He also said the teacher offered him edibles. At one point in the conversation, the teacher invited him to her home, which he declined. The boy also said he told the school resource officer about the incident in March last year. In a post-Miranda interview, the teacher said she sent nude photos to several boys, admitting it. Some of the boys sent photos back. She said she knew she interacted with a few boys. The youngest was in 8th grade. She said she just liked the attention. Documents say there was discussions about taking gummies. She said she stopped when she started dating the officer at the school.
Yeah, sicko.
That relationship developed when the officer approached her on April 25th of last year about a report made by the teacher. Charges say the teacher told the officer everything, and he responded that he was going to do her a favor and let the case go.
Law enforcement alleges those photos were reported to the school resource officer. The SRO did not document those allegations and is now also facing charges.
So for a second, did he think maybe this isn't the lady I want to get hooked up with? The one that's sending photos to kids?
Is she crazy hot?
I didn't see a picture of her.
Crazy hot would factor in, I would imagine, for a guy like
I don't
that.
know.
So he covered it up because he was banging her.
That's right.
Right.
That's the allegation, at least.
Yeah.
Police drafted a search warrant for the teacher's phone and found Snapchat images and chats that were exactly as the boy said. The school district superintendent said, "I recognize circumstances like these can cause anger and diminish trust. I share your anger," he said. The teacher and former officer are both facing felony charges.
Yeah, it's not a good vibe they're giving off there.
No, definitely not.
Not a good
pair
vibe.
of sickos.
A 54-year-old Maryland woman was arrested after she was caught wandering the halls of a hotel naked twice in the same night. This happened at a Hampton Inn in Cumberland. Police said they were first called last Monday for a welfare check, found the woman strolling the hallways nude and causing a commotion. Officers returned her to her room with a warning. No more disturbances, they told her.
You can't walk around naked anymore.
But modesty was short-lived. Just 2 hours later, she was back at it, this time attempting to enter another guest room, still by all accounts unburdened by shame or fabric. That second streak sealed the deal. She was dressed in some handcuffs and arrested.
Crazy hot?
Didn't show a picture.
What the hell's going on over there?
I don't know.
I think that's hilarious. They gave her a second chance.
Hey, lady, come on.
That's why I assume they gave her a second chance.
If she was crazy hot, she would have had maybe a third and fourth chance, I guess.
Slinging heat.
Police say a 34-year-old half-naked man stole a shuttle bus parked outside Nashville's Batter's Box Bar and Grill about 3:10 p.m. Thursday. Not even happy hour yet. The shirtless, shoeless, and shameless suspect jumped onto the bus while the driver momentarily stepped inside the bar to shepherd patrons toward suds and sliders. And that's when the man commandeered the idling bus and took it on a drunken demolition derby.
So long, suckers.
He bashed into at least 3 cars as it barreled through city streets.
Probably just have to scrape up all of our pennies right here and go get another bus to keep the show on the road until we figure out what's going on.
Yeah, that bus was effed. Eventually, the man ditched the shuttle and disappeared.
You see him there hitting one of the cars, and then he continued where he hits at least one more car. Police say the bus started leaking fluids, and that's when the man ran out.
Authorities are still tallying up the damage and trying to figure out what else he may have hit along the way. No injuries were reported.
You know, Cubby, when the Minnesota North Stars made their miracle run to the Stanley Cup final in 1991, we had the time of our lives, and part of that fun was after the games, being 19 years old and wildly intoxicated, we would kind of wander around Bloomington and see what trouble we could get into. And one of my buddies, after one of the games, broke into an MTC bus and was playing with the air brakes. Psh, psh.
Oh, yeah, I bet that's fun, yeah.
So now, whenever I hear air brakes on a city bus, it reminds me of the 1991 Minnesota North Stars.
It's funny how memories get triggered.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. A Buddhist monk in Thailand has been arrested for ditching enlightenment for embezzlement after helping himself to more than $9 million in funds from his faithful devotees, making off with more than $9 million in just donations from the devotees, who were apparently very devoted. Investigators accused the 48-year-old monk who led the monastery of funneling cash from the temple's bank account straight into his own. That before tracing the funds to an illegal online gambling ring specializing in card games, which apparently he liked to play. The holy man has since left the monkhood. A second suspect has also been arrested, and officials are investigating whether others were involved.
What, the guy was hooked on playing online euchre or something like that?
Exactly. $9 million he stole.
Duh!
And
where did they get $9 million?
All the donations from followers.
That's incredible.
Yeah, wow.
It's pretty good.
That's a very dedicated group of followers, by God.
Sadly, this isn't a solitary saga of sacred scandal. less than Buddha-approved behaviors happened before. In 2022, a temple in central Thailand went from meditation to meth when every single monk tested positive for amphetamines.
What are they doing over there?
Trying to get enlightenment.
Yeah, they're trying to party.
They're doing every damn thing. Celibacy sucks. What movie? 651-989-9393, where a monk is holding a sign that says celibacy sucks. What movie was it?
A 30-year-old former food delivery driver admitted to helping orchestrate a scam against DoorDash, getting the company to pay for thousands of deliveries that never were made. $2.5 million in stolen funds. Prosecutors say the men teamed up with 3 others in 2020 and 2021 to pull off the scheme. Here's how it worked. They placed pricey fake orders using real customer accounts. Then, using stolen employee credentials, they got into DoorDash's internal systems and reassigned those orders to driver accounts that they controlled. Once those fake drivers, quote, delivered the food on paper only, they marked the jobs as complete and stole the cash. The defendant is now the third to be convicted to the plot. 2 conspirators have already pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud. That's quite the scam. Anybody get it yet?
Yeah, a listener with the last 4 digits, 9814, was the first to win. Plenty are answering the correct question, but this individual was the first. The correct answer, Hot Shots Part 2.
That was a very funny movie.
Oh, God.
And then everyone started saying Part 2 forever.
Yes. That was the first sequel to use the French, if I'm not mistaken, the French version of it, and it's still a thing, like Josh was saying.
Yeah, that was funny.
That gal who stopped by the monastery, what do they call it where monks hang out?
Monastery.
That gal, she was hot enough to make monks hold up signs that says celibacy sucks.
That was so subtle and clever. It was awesome.
Absolutely.
Timberwolves legend Kevin Garnett, who will not be getting a birthday card from former Timberwolves owner Glenn Taylor, is 49 today.
He's almost 50 years old.
He's real close.
And it was
right on the cusp.
Just like yesterday, wasn't it, when he came to town,
That's
Josh?
right. Former NBA bad boy and one-time Timberwolves assistant coach Bill Laimbeer, 68. And that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver.
Leaving the proverbial back door open.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
In closing, he probably would not be too happy with me right now, knowing that I spent precious time discussing him and not the upcoming game. Well, Uke, I want to apologize because you meant the world to me. And being back at this ballpark and in this great city without you is really hard.
A nice little tribute from Corey Provis to the late Bob Uecker with the Twins playing in Milwaukee over the weekend. We'll get to the Twins soon enough. First, let's say a word up to Randy Shaver and Brad F. Me running sideways writer.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What up, hose?
Happy to be here.
Start of another week.
Yeah, we're happy to have you.
Oh, no. Brad, you're on vacation, aren't you, Brad?
No, not quite. I'm sitting in my office putting grades in.
Oh, you've mailed it in for weeks
Putting
already.
Grades in.
Yep, calculating some final grades, but yeah.
Is the school year almost wrapped up?
Yep. Graduation was Saturday, so.
Then it's off to the cabin?
For the most part, yeah.
Nickum Docks and all that, right, Brad?
Yeah, Nick, I'm glad you mentioned that because my guys at Nickum Docks actually got my dock in like the end of March this year. They were on the ball. My dock's been in for 2 months already.
They're great people, but you know what, Brad? No one cares when your dock goes in.
Well, you brought it up, so I wanted to make sure and get them a proper shout out that they were out and got my stuff in right away this year.
I'll tell you what.
You're a big deal, Brad.
Yeah, he is.
No, you know what it is? It's because our lake, the ice usually comes off first before the ones down here in the city, so they do try to get out there and get that done before all of the stuff on Minnetonka. So.
That's great, Brad.
Does your cabin have one of those bars nearby, one of those local hole-in-the-walls where they don't take too kindly to people from the city showing up and making a bunch of noise?
Oh, that defines the town of Spicer.
I love those bars.
Yeah.
They don't like the 6-1 tours?
Well, yeah, they prefer that you live out there, but since they know that I grew up there, I'm fine.
Get a pass.
Wow, I love that area.
Yeah.
I would have appreciated a warning that those types of bars exist. I was at a friend's cabin once, and a few of us walked in, and they're like, oh, effing 6-1 tours. And I had no idea that people would be upset by that.
They will beat your ass unconscious. They'll beat your ass unconscious. They'll leave you on the floor of the bar and lock the joint at the end of the night. They won't even they'll leave you there till morning.
I get a pass, though. I'm a native.
Yeah, they'll let you go.
So, speaking of trouble and violence and outsiders that we don't like, it's going to be Oklahoma City. The Thunder Nugget series closed out yesterday. It's going to be Oklahoma City.
That was a whooping.
Yep.
Give you a Thunder Nugget.
That was a whooping. Yep.
So tomorrow night is the effing night. Game 1 of the Western Conference Final. If the Wolves can win the series, by God, they'll play for the championship of the damn world. I'll do whatever it takes, personally. I'll start trouble in the parking lot with OKC fans. I'll sacrifice anything.
Has your wife asked you to remain calm? Has she brought that up like she did the last series?
Yeah, she wants me to stop going so bananas and cursing and hollering and focusing on the negative is what I do too much of, according to her. So,
but you said you handled yourself well at home.
I improved, in my opinion, I improved my behavior at home over the ass end of who was the team the Wolves just beat?
Golden State.
I feel like I improved my overall mental health during the last couple games of that series. But my wife has already invited someone to come over for game 1 tomorrow night because she feels like I behaved myself better.
Oh, that's smart.
I behave better when there's company.
Shouldn't naturally you be under better behavior just because this is a harder team? I mean, obviously, they become a rival, but they're a harder team to really dislike.
Common sense doesn't come into play, Brad Ryder.
Okay.
Know what my wife did? Because I'm like you, Nick, where I can turn into a complete mental case during big sporting events. My wife, once last football season, she kind of discreetly videotaped me a little bit on her phone so that later on in the day after the big win, I could go back and see just how much of a lunatic I act like. I was kind of embarrassed with myself. I was like, if you showed that to somebody, they would lock me up.
Don't be embarrassed. Be proud.
Yeah.
Dana. Where was I going with this? So, Brad, yeah, that's a good idea. That makes sense, what you just said, Brad Ryder, that maybe I wouldn't be so mental when – is this what you were saying? Maybe I shouldn't be so mental when facing Oklahoma City because they're just such a damn good basketball team. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, kind of, because, I mean, the Lakers, obviously, there's a lot of reasons to hate the Lakers.
Right.
The Warriors, there's a lot of reasons to hate the Warriors. And even if they would have played the Nuggets, obviously, there's a few reasons to hate the Nuggets. But there's not a lot of dislikable people.
It is kind of annoying how likable all those players are.
I understand what you mean, Brad Ryder.
And it's not like it's a big market,
No.
Yeah.
You make perfect sense, but I don't you don't care. I don't exercise much reason. Those are all good reasons, but when the game starts, I want perfection. And if I don't get it, I act like a maniac.
Didn't you say your wife gets a little heated?
Yeah, once in a while. Like I said, she hollered at the TV during the Lakers series, and she called LeBron James a big bitch. So she gets a little fired up. But, I mean, I take it completely to a much higher level. So she's invited company over for game 1 in hopes that will keep me in check. We'll see how it plays out.
Is it company that you like?
Yeah.
Okay, well then.
Yeah.
You'll be more relaxed then.
It seemed to work that way a few games ago. What
I'm saying is you will let your emotions be there if you know the person or persons more personally, right?
Well, like I said, Randy,
with them.
no matter if it's just me and the wife or company, I already, I think, in my opinion, have been showing better behavior.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Ashley.
This series hasn't started yet, though.
No. And I'll tell you what.
It's going to be a hell of a series.
I think my wife is more on edge over the Oklahoma City Thunder club than I am even. She can't stand the sight of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and she really can't stand the sight of Chet Holmgren.
Are those...
It's just because they're on other teams, though, right? I mean,
I think she disliked them no matter what team they played for.
I don't know how you can dislike them. They both play. I mean, that whole team plays the right way. They're
here we go.
I'm just saying they're so good defensively. I mean, they really are. They're very good defensively. offensively, they have their question marks. Jalen Williams had a great game yesterday, but he struggled offensively. I mean, that's where you can catch this team. If this team isn't shooting, if Caruso's not doing stuff off the bench and Jalen Williams is having an off game and you're controlling Chet Holmgren, I mean, seriously, they don't, other than Shea Gill, SGA is really good. But he and Edwards kind of cancel each other out.
I hope so.
So now you got to figure out who else can beat you on that roster. And Jalen Williams has had an up and down playoff series. So
that big center has certainly found his game.
Yeah, but
Gobert will neutralize that.
Yeah,
all right.
I think you neutralize him. Holmgren to me is a little bit of a wild card. Jalen Williams is a wild card for sure. If he plays well offensively, that could be some problems for the Wolves. But I think their bench equals each other out. I think it's going to be a really close, hard-fought series.
I think that's the big. I think to me that's the big question. Will the Wolves bench step up because they didn't? Well, they didn't need to, but they really didn't the last series, and they really didn't the first. But they're going to have to this series.
We know how effective the Wolves bench can be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can they get it done? It all starts tomorrow. Oh, it's going to be terrible. Yeah, when the wife sees Gilgeous-Alexander or Chet Holmgren on television, she just goes, "Oh God, oh no!"
What doesn't she like about Chet?
You'd have to ask her. I don't know.
Because he's a 6'1"2"er?
Yeah, that's what he is.
A Sidian?
He is.
Yeah. I hope you don't like the color blue, because that's all you're going to see on Tuesday and Thursday is blue.
Yeah, they wear blue T-shirts at the game. It's very intimidating.
Yeah.
The fans wear blue T-shirts at the game. Yeah. So that's how it's going to be, and it starts tomorrow night, and we can get a little further into it.
I think the Eastern Conference Final is interesting too.
Oh, wow.
For the first time in a long time, both of these matchups are fresh and new and interesting, and it's not the same old people. You know what I mean? It's not those.
Sure.
Yeah.
Golden State's gone.
Yeah.
It's not the same old thing.
No, it's wonderful.
The Celtics are gone.
Celtics are gone. I think it's going to be great. I think people will be engaged in both series.
Did we cover this as far as the Celtics-Knicks series and the Cavaliers-Pacers series goes, which the Knicks won in 6 and the Pacers won in 5? 22 ESPN NBA experts made a prediction on who would win those series. All 22 picked the Celtics or Cavaliers. Not a one picked the Knickerbockers or the Pacers. ESPN experts went 0 for 22 from the field. And I think they also were 0 for in the Wolves-Lakers series.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
They're struggling.
Well, I think the Eastern one is kind of, to me, it's easy because those two teams dominated the East pretty much all season long. So it's kind of hard to pick against those two clubs, especially Indiana upsetting Cleveland. Oklahoma City, to me, they've had such a great season. They were number 1 seed last year. This team's not a fluke. They're really good.
They'll do something to piss me off pretty quickly, I'm sure.
It really is going to be Knicks Wolves, isn't it?
I hope so.
Oh, that would be juicy.
That would be amazing.
That would be wonderful.
My.
That would be amazing.
Brad, you were 100% confident from the get-go in the Wolves-Golden State series.
Yeah.
What's your confidence level going into the Oklahoma City series?
I think, my confidence level is it's going to be a long series. I think it's going to be a 7-game series.
All right, but you're not confident
I'm not confident
to pick a winner.
No, I'm not.
Right.
I'm not yet, but I got to see a couple games first. But I do think this will be a longer series.
If it goes 7, that could be a tough game for the Wolves.
Josh was telling us earlier today is Kevin Garnett's birthday.
Yeah.
He's 49.
Okay. Wow, he's almost 50.
I know.
Amazing.
Do you have any memories of your first run-ins with the big ticket? Your first run-in with the big ticket, like Randy, the first time you interviewed him when he came to town.
It seems to me when he first started, was he wearing like a protective mask or something?
I don't remember him wearing the Willie Burton.
Like his rookie year. seems to me that there was some sort of a protective gear that he was wearing. But I just remember that he was very
thin,
super thin, shy.
Yeah.
Wasn't really a big talker, pretty quiet. And if you remember the first year, he didn't play a lot. They almost forced, I think Jimmy Rogers was the coach.
Yeah.
They kind of had to force Jimmy to play him.
Jimmy didn't like rookies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Well, happy birthday to Kevin Garnett.
And then I got him at the tail end of his career when he had come out of his shell. Let's just put it that way.
God. Did he ever?
Yeah, no kidding.
Did he friggin' ever?
He signed a basketball card for me at Target Center his rookie year, and I remember just being so excited. Here's KG's going down the line. He's signing cards. He signs mine. I get so excited. I look at it. It looked like a toddler just scribbled on the thing. I tried telling my friends, I'm like, I got KG's autograph. They looked at it. They're like, no, you didn't. What the hell is this?
They weren't buying it?
No.
You fell down the stairs with a pen in one hand and a KG card in the other.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, you guys.
I have a practice jersey signed by KG from 19, whatever the year was he was drafted, 95.
Word.
And I have it. It's in a frame. It's in my house here. And
I'll give you $5 for it.
Oh, it's worth a lot more than that.
I'll give you $55.
But you're right. His autograph is a little tough to read. I'm sure it was better early on than it was later in his career. But it's hard to read.
Well, you guys know about my first interaction with Kevin Garnett. It was magical. I said, hey, KG, I'm Nick. Work at a local radio station. What did he say to me, Josh?
What up, Bass?
What up, Bass?
That's so cool.
Well, this wasn't my first interaction with him, but I will say this was my longest interaction with him, is when he was back, and it was at the second time around, and I was working there, and it was during the Target Center renovation. I may have told this story before. After practice one day, he calls me over, and he said, hey, he goes, I got to talk to you. He said, because the people in the front office will not listen to me. He said, but I know you will. And for about the next 10 to 15 minutes, he went into great detail about what he thought the renovation should look like from an entertainment standpoint. Like he wanted to turn that, like, you know, that exclusive members only area that there is now that you've seen. He wanted to turn that into essentially a combination of strip club, bar, and brothel.
Good for him.
And they
didn't listen?
And he had all the plans laid out in his head, and he said, that's what's going to attract free agents. Nobody will listen to me. And I'm sitting there listening going, What
do you wanted, topless babes down there in the VIP room?
Essentially, yeah.
Or the VIP bar or whatever they have.
He wanted like the 80s Lakers vibe.
Right, yeah. That's what he was going for. And he actually even mentioned that.
According to the Sporting News, these are the top 10 basketball players to never win a championship. Of course, Kevin Garnett will be ineligible for this list because he won 5 or 6 titles with the Wolves back in the day.
Yeah.
These are the top 10 basketball players to never win a championship. Ranked, I think, from 10 to 1. Number 10, Carmelo's Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9, Russ Westbrook.
Oh, wow. I guess that surprises me.
That he never won it all?
Yeah. He never won at OKC.
He's played for 17 different teams.
That's what I mean. I feel like he would have fell ass backwards into one somehow.
Number 8, Cone.
Chris Paul.
Number 7, Patrick Ewing. Number 6, John Stockton. Number 5, Elgin Baylor, who lost in the finals 8 times.
Yeah.
That'll haunt you.
Number 4 is Canadian.
Steve Nash?
Steve Nash.
That's right, Steve Nash. Number 3, Allen Iverson. Number 2, Charles Barkley. Number 1, the best player that never won a title. Who is it, Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder?
Karl Malone.
Karl Malone.
If you name Stockton, you have to name Malone.
Yeah. Steve Nash. What's he going to do this year? Oh, he and the German Moses are going to do some television together, aren't they?
Yep. That can be pretty funny.
I'm sure it will be funny.
Oh, yeah.
They're both funny guys. Mm-hmm. Remember, Josh and I will always be very fond of this bit. From, 10 years ago or so, Steve Nash went on the David Letterman show. And David Letterman sent him out to the NBA finals to interview players and interview fans. And Steve Nash, all 6 foot even of him, I think he's maybe 6 foot, Letterman says, okay, let's check in with Steve Nash live from wherever, covering the NBA Finals. And Steve Nash is standing next to some woman who he was going to interview. And Nash may have been just like a centimeter taller than this woman. And Steve Nash says, I'll tell you what, seeing me interviewing this lady kind of shows you the difference in size between a mere mortal and an NBA player, does it not? It was very funny.
Oh, that old Letterman show was just, that couldn't be topped. When he was on NBC, especially.
Oh, I was a Letterman junkie when I was a kid.
I was too.
Watched it every night. Milwaukee Bucks star player Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, he went over to Twitter Sunday and did a little Q&A with fans, and someone asked him the trendy gorilla fighting humans question. Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder, do you know this gimmick yet?
I don't.
Mm-mm.
Josh, can you explain it? Because I'm sure I'll get it wrong.
Well, somebody on social media asked if 100 men could beat a gorilla, in a fight.
100 adult men versus one adult gorilla.
Yeah, who's going to win that fight?
Right.
And then people would chime in on their opinions and why.
Do you have any thoughts off the top of your head? When we first brought it up a couple weeks ago, I said every man would die. The adult-sized male gorilla would kill every man.
Yeah, I'm on your side.
Men would have no chance. I don't care how many you push.
Is it one man at a time?
The men can do whatever they want.
No weapons.
Oh.
And I saw a bunch of experts say that's why the 100 men would win. The strategy. They'd figure it out if they did it correctly. And you could have guys that know what they're doing, how to fight, some real tough guys in there. So
just average men, no weapons, 100 of them against a big fat-ass gorilla. Where do you go with it off the top of your head? Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder, where do you go with that off the top of your head?
I don't know what you want me to say.
What do you mean we don't know who would win in the fight? 100 men versus...
I guess I would say 100 men, but
At some point, probably.
Okay.
A lot of men would die, but experts agree. They had a bunch of animal experts they asked.
All I can tell you is Brad's going first.
I got to rope-a-dope him a little bit, get him tired.
Oh, this is nice. Someone thinks I'm pretty strong. They said Josh could beat off 100 men.
Oh, that's so nice.
I mean, I took some boxing lessons. Might be able to hold my own for a little bit.
You could get it done, Josh.
Hold your own. You don't have time to hold your own.
Well, I could beat off a few guys, I bet.
Yeah, once you get warmed up a little bit.
Yeah.
I told you the story before. My old man, when he was alive, he loved to say things that were wildly inappropriate, even though he had no idea what he was saying. We were fishing up north, and there was a young lady that was in our fishing party, and she went out to the bars one night with a couple other characters, and the next morning my dad says to her, so you went out to the bar last night, did you? And she said, yeah, me and Donnie and Ronnie went up to the... And my dad, trying to give her a compliment, said, boy, I bet you had to beat off every guy in that bar last night. And I said, hang on a second, time out. What he meant to say is that you had to fight off all of them, not beat off. And my dad's sitting there confused, like, what did I say?
I still shiver sometimes. I had a very, very similar experience. Like, when I think about this, I just get cringe because... My daughter, she took, Taekwondo when she was very little. There's a place by us, and she wanted to
I taught her everything she knows.
Oh, of course.
And then the sensei or whatever he is, he's like, all right, I always like to ask the parents, why are you getting your child into martial arts? And I said, well, I'm just hoping when she gets older, she can beat off every guy that comes near her.
My mom had one of those recently. We were all hanging out, me, my wife, mom and dad, and her parents as well, my mother and father-in-law. And we're looking at wedding photos, and there's this one really great one that was taken outside in the rain. The photographer did a great job. And my mom just kept saying over and over again, that one right there, that's the money shot. That's the money shot. All the photos are great, but this one... money shot.
Stop saying money shot.
Please, for the love of God, Mom.
My mom did something like that, too. My youngest was blowing up a balloon on maybe his, 4th or 5th birthday, and she's like, oh, wow, what a blowjob.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, my God.
The worst part was I thought she has no idea what she said, but she turned red and knew exactly, and that made it kind of worse.
Oh.
And what have I done? I have opened up the text machine, I'd imagine, by telling that story.
Yeah, you messed up there.
That was stupid.
Just bring up a push pop. People will be focused on what a push pop is. Okay, so Giannis Antetokounmpo, he went on Twitter for a Q&A with fans. Someone asked him the trendy gorilla fighting humans question. But they did a little twist on it. They performed a little twist on it. They asked Giannis, you and 4 other current NBA players have to fight a silverback gorilla. Life or death situation in the middle of the jungle with no weapons. Pick your 4 players. And these are the 4 players that the Greek Freak picked that would fight with him against a gorilla in the jungle. He went with Steven Adams.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Good choice.
Zubac, the kid from the L.A. Clippers. I can't say his first name. Ivica Zubac.
Yep. Yeah, he's a tough ass.
Jokic.
Yeah. He looks exhausted all the time, but yes.
And he always looks like he has a cold with his nose is always so red.
I don't know. He looks like he could fight a gorilla, though.
We were watching that series, and Roseanne goes to me, why is he so tired all the time? I go, that's just the way he looks.
He's
not
just
tired.
sleepy.
He looks like in great shape. He's
tired from carrying that team for the last 5 years.
No kidding.
He kind of has the appearance of someone who hasn't quite evolved from a gorilla. Like he's only 1 or 2 generations into being a human.
And that friggin' nose is always so red and irritated. One more player that the Greek Freak thought would be valuable in a fight against a gorilla, Zach Edey.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Twins' 13-game win streak ended yesterday in Milwaukee, the second longest win streak in Twins history. They weren't able to get the sweep in the series. The Brew Crew beat them 5-2. Their ridiculous run of 34 innings without giving up a run obviously also came to a close. But what a hell of a streak there for the boys.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, they really turned things around.
Yeah, got them right back in the thick of things.
Without Buxton now for a while, without Correa.
Yeah, I don't think Buxton's going to be out that long. I think he's only on the 7-day IL for concussion, so he should be back pretty quick.
Twins left-handed reliever Danny Coulombe, who has not given a run, not allowed a run all season, has been placed on the 15-day injured list with a forearm extensor strain, whatever that means.
Yeah,
Rocco says he's not overly concerned about that. So they have their injury issues, but have been playing very well. Obviously, damn near a record streak. Terrific run of innings without giving up a run. And who knows how yesterday's game would have turned out if Brewers center fielder Jackson Chourio doesn't rob Royce Lewis of a potential game-tying 2-run dong in the 8th inning. That was a great catch.
Yep.
Lewis did hit his first yard sale of the season yesterday. Zebby Matthews, not terribly good.
No.
But whatever. It was a great streak. Next up, they start a 3-game home series tonight against a club right in the mix with them for second place in the division, the Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah, they get Cleveland and Kansas City back-to-back this week. So that'll be a good in-division test.
They are in the same division as the best team in baseball now, record-wise.
Yeah, Detroit.
Yep.
Trash trucker Jesus. Go ahead, Randy. Sorry.
I was just going to say, and the way that they've pieced together a lineup over the last couple of weeks because of injuries. You got Clemens now in there. They called up the McCusker kid from St. Paul.
Yeah.
He pinch hit yesterday. They've kind of had to piece some things together over the last few weeks because of injuries, and they're still winning. So it's been good.
Trash trucker Jesus, he has a different take on this gorilla thing. He
All right.
said, here's the real question. First in line to fight the gorilla or last in line for Bonnie Blue?
Wow.
That's a tough question.
Oh, boy.
How many did she take on? 1,000?
I think so, yeah.
Something crazy like that? Or was it 100? It was a lot.
It was a lot.
Well, in one scenario, you're going to die. In the other one, you're probably
You could
not.
still die.
Well, you're going to get a disease maybe that'll take you out.
Well, I'm pretty adverse to those types of diseases, so...
Yeah, 1,000 men one day.
I'll go 1,000. I'll be number 1,000.
I think I'd have to be as well.
Yeah, I'm not going to fight no damn gorilla. The Chicago White Sox have a jersey that's been selling very well, even though they're terrible, and they have been for a long time. It's not a player's jersey. It's the Pope.
Oh.
That's pretty funny.
That's cute.
I don't normally follow this operation, but Pope Leo is the first American Pope, and he's also a White Sox fan. He's from Chicago.
Yep.
Yep.
A lot of photos have surfaced of him at games from back in the day.
He attended the 2005 World Series when Chicago beat the Houston Astros in 4 games. One sports shop in Chicago has been going along with the bit. They're selling a number 14 Pope Leo jersey. He's the 14th Pope. Is that where that goes?
I'm not sure. I don't follow.
Is it the 14th something? Yeah.
I have no idea. But they're selling very well. The owners of this sports shop, Grandstand Sports, if I didn't say that already, they estimate they've sold several hundred of those jerseys since the new Pope was named, outselling any White Sox player over the past 2 seasons.
He's the 14th Leo of all the popes they've ever had.
Oh, my God.
Wow. Well, I'm glad they're getting some money.
You mentioned the 2005 World Series and how he was there. My buddy made a good point. He goes, so there's a Pope now who not only knows who A.J. Brzezinski is, but is probably a fan.
Probably. Yeah, that was silly of me to think there'd only been 14 popes. But again, it's not a sport that I follow.
Yeah, I have no idea what goes on with that.
The Baltimore Orioles gassed their manager by the name of Brandon Hyde. They're being called the most disappointing team in Major League Baseball. Had led them to a couple of great seasons, but things have gone sideways.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. 2 managers have already been gassed, and we're not even to June yet. The manager in Pittsburgh, and then this guy.
Philadelphia Phillies bullpen is going to have to operate a little differently for a while. A closer by the name of Jose Alvarado has been suspended for 80 games after he tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. He'll be ineligible until the postseason, I believe. Oh, no, sorry. He's not coming back. Alvarado, what did I say his name was?
Yeah,
Alvarado
will
be ineligible for the postseason even, it says here. And he's been terrific. He's been one of the best relievers in the game for a couple of years now. I wonder what the hell he got himself into.
Yeah.
27 years ago yesterday, David Wells threw that overhung no-hitter against the Twins. 27 years ago yesterday. I remember it like it was...
Was it a no-hitter or a perfect
What did I say?
I think it's a perfect game.
I thought it was a perfect game, yeah.
Yep, it was a perfecto.
Yeah, I guess I didn't specify that.
Same thing.
Yes, perfect game, yeah. Partied with the Saturday Night Live cast until 5 a.m. Got 2 hours of sleep. Started a 1 o'clock game against the Twins. Didn't throw a single strike in warm-ups. Threw a perfect game with 11 strikeouts. And here's a picture of his big fat carcass celebrating on the field with his teammates. That was a horrible afternoon. I remember it very well.
Looking at the line of the Twins rolled out that day, Matt Lawton, Brent Gates, Paul Molitor, Marty Cordova, Ron Coomer.
Pat Mears.
Yeah, Pat Mears is in there. Javier Valentin, John Shave, and Alex Ochoa.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple decent hitters. I mean, Paul Molitor is one of the greatest hitters to ever live.
Right.
Did anyone see the video of Shohei Ohtani getting struck out last week by a position player?
That was hilarious.
No.
Absolutely hilarious, like Josh said. A catcher. So the Dodgers were beating the Oakland Athletics or whatever. The Athletics 17-2 or something. Game is out of hand. The Athletics take one of their catchers by the name of Johnny Pareda and have him throw the last couple innings of the game. And he struck out Ohtani, and it was friggin' hilarious.
And he asked to keep the ball, too.
Did he really? He should.
I would as well.
He was throwing pitches in the 60s, got a couple of strikes on Ohtani, and then went upstairs with an 89-mile-per-hour fastball, and Ohtani swung through it, and Ohtani was friggin' furious.
Oh, I bet.
Which made it that much more beautiful.
He went back to he grabbed his phone, he started making some rage bets just because he was angry.
Probably. If you watch the video, I don't know, Ashley had to go potty or something. I don't know if that's up on our website. But when the dude delivered his pitches, they were very awkward looking, number one. His delivery was very awkward. Mm-hmm. And also, he would immediately backpedal like a slow pitch softball pitcher does. And I think, most folks think, he was terrified of taking a line drive to the nuts.
Yeah.
So he was
get in fielding position as soon as possible.
You never see a real pitcher. You see that in beer league softball, but it was a lot of fun to watch. Ohtani had hit 2 home runs already in the game, so I don't know why he walked away so pissed. But both big old Game 7s yesterday turned out to be blow-bang parties. I'm referring to Denver, Oklahoma City in the NBA and Florida, Toronto in the NHL. I was fairly excited to watch Game 7 of the Maple Leaf Panthers series. to see which club would make it to the conference final, and it turned into a bukkake video. The Florida Panthers totally curb-stomped the Maple Leafs 6-1. It was a classic case of the more experienced club getting it done. Disappointing. The Maple Leafs have now lost 7 Game 7s in a row.
Wow.
Colorado hit that mark earlier in this same tournament. So Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final is tomorrow night with Florida and Carolina.
Oh.
State of hockey, right?
two rich hockey markets.
Oh,
and the Western Conference Final will be Dallas-Winnipeg. The Dallas Stars murdered Winnipeg's season Saturday night. They beat the Jets in overtime to end that series in 6 games. The Jets were the best team on paper at the end of the regular season.
Yeah.
Josh, they were this close to being relevant for the very first time.
That would have been cool.
The Winnipeg Jets. They were this close to being relevant.
So now it's Dallas and Edmonton?
Edmonton.
Yes,
yep.
if I didn't say that already. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Canada's last hope here, Edmonton.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. I think people have to stop pretending that this guy is not mentally ill. Well, our next 2 characters. People have to stop pretending that they're not mentally ill. First, a former NFL wide receiver, Antonio. What name was I going to say, Ashley?
Antonio Brown.
Former NFL wide receiver Antonio Brown was arrested on Friday night in Miami. He was at an influencer boxing event.
That sounds awesome.
And he got into some kind of fight, and the overall word is that he drew a gun and was firing shots into the air.
Oh, shit. Hey, baby, get the strap. Oh, shit.
What is that
at the end? I love that.
Somebody doing a Michael Jackson impression at the same time as running away from gunshots?
He says he was jumped and he was not arrested, and he's going to talk to his lawyers. And
He even mentioned his CTE, didn't he?
I have nothing on that in front of me.
I read that he said, I don't know exactly what it was, but he did say, like, I have CTE, or I had CTE, something like that. I didn't know what I was doing, didn't know what was happening or something.
All right.
I was like, what? Okay, well, you spend all day on Twitter saying you don't have CTE.
It's just a little bit too much of a coincidence here that gong show after gong show after gong show with this guy. At one point or another, he can be seen in a video kicking a man who was later identified as one of his security personnel members.
Bud.
I don't know.
That's what people were saying. He was fighting his own
crew. Our next mentally ill person is Tom Brady, of course. I've called him the lunatic for years. Here's a story about how he likes to walk around naked on the roof of his house so everyone in the neighborhood can see him naked.
What?
Why?
And he lives across the street from his ex.
Yeah.
Ew.
Oh, that's right.
He lives across the street from his ex-wife.
Yeah.
Put some clothes on.
You got to be nuts to live across the street from your ex-wife.
Well, I'm assuming it's kid-related, right? Easy to go between mom and dad's house.
Well, I mean, does it have to be that easy? You can't be...
I bet they live in a pretty nice neighborhood.
Next town over.
There's probably a couple of fences between.
A couple houses in a gated community.
Yeah, I think they'll be all right.
Yeah.
He likes to walk around naked on the roof of his house so everyone can see him naked. Tom really has nothing to hide, someone was quoted in this story. He has no shame in his game. He's used to being naked and doesn't care who sees him. Oh, is that right? You don't care who sees you? What about the people who care? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have no interest in seeing that man naked.
Tom would not have gone... whatever. He doesn't care. Well, there might be some people in the neighborhood who care, so, put a pair of friggin' shorts on. The good news is Hulk Hogan has stepped in to try to save Hooters.
Thank God.
Thank you.
My money was on Jerry Lawler to make that move, really. But instead, it was the Hulkster. As you guys know, Hooters is in all kinds of trouble. They filed for bankruptcy. 40 different locations have shut down across the United States over the last couple of years. According to TMZ, so it's got to be true. Hulk Hogan is exploring the idea of using his Real American brand. Isn't that a beer?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he came in here to promote.
Right. But if they just call it the Real American brand, does he have other products?
Maybe he's just trying to have that as an umbrella term.
Clothing line, I'm sure he's got T-shirts and merch.
He wants to use the Real American gimmick to obtain the right to Hooters. Because it says here, Hooters stands for what America is all about.
Yes.
This is very dramatic here.
Of course it does.
Very dramatic. Hooters is more than just wings and nostalgia. This is a spokesman from Hulk Hogan's Real American brand speaking. Hooters is more than just wings and nostalgia. It's part of the American story.
Yeah, I remember learning about Hooters for an extended period of time during history class. Yeah.
I love how they try to fire that whole bit up and get everyone going, well, wait a minute.
Well, I'm just embarrassed we let it get this far. You let it get this bad that the Hulkster needed to step in.
Well, yeah, like we were saying, if there's one guy, he's the guy.
Hooters will, this is again the spokesman, Hooters will return to the spotlight as a symbol of unfiltered Americana.
Yep, absolutely.
Everybody remembers their first time.
I mean, I like Hooters and everything. That's just going a little far there, in my opinion.
That's a stretch, yeah.
Start playing the national anthem on the hour.
We're just college girls in tight uniforms and wings and beer, for Christ's sake.
America.
Yeah. But
well, they were trying to change the image, so maybe he's going to bring it back, I guess, keep it as it was.
Yeah, let's go 90s Hooters on it.
That's a touchy situation, isn't it, Cubby?
Because Hooters came out and said, hey, we're going to try and make this a little more family-friendly. And then everyone said, well, what's the point of being Hooters?
Right.
That's right.
Well, we've got Applebee's.
Right. If Hulkster takes over and
it's got to be he's going to keep it the way it was.
Okay.
Well, wouldn't you think?
Yes, because people,
definitely.
Like you said, people will say, well, what's the point of saving Hooters if it's not Hooters anymore?
Yeah, whether you like it or not, that's kind of what it is. I mean, yeah.
Right. The Hulkster. He sure was nice when he came in studio. It was a lot of fun. He was a great guest when he was pushing his Real American beer. I don't think I've had one yet. Or wait a minute, did I? Yeah, and it was good. So there you go. I thought Jerry Lawler would be the guy.
I bet John Daly will help him out.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised he hasn't bought it.
I think I read recently his health isn't too great right now.
Well, he's always looked so healthy.
He might not have a ton of money.
Cigarettes and Diet Coke.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if... But then again, Hogan's been in financial ruin 5 or 6 times.
I'm sure you have like an investor group or something.
I don't know. There you go, boys. Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder, appreciate it.
Of course.
Appreciate it very much. Brad, have fun cleaning up your classroom and whatnot. Get ready for would this be your last week of real work then, and then you're on vacation?
Oh, yeah. I mean, not even the whole week. I'll be in today, maybe part of tomorrow, and that's it.
You know who's off next week completely?
You guys.
This friggin' operation.
Ultimate F-off week.
It is. This is Ultimate F-off.
Yeah.
The spring edition. And Randy, of course, is off every day. We'll talk to you guys. Thank you very much.
See ya.
Coming up next, we'll chat with Dr. James Parnell. So if you have a question for a doctor, our number is 651-989-9393. Dr. PG's. This is next on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Well. If it is our wonderful podcast listener, the ones that all of us on hams love the most. Dana here to give you a little gentle reminder to hit up our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning and tune up that AC before it fully turns into crotch soup season. June through August are Standard's busy season for getting AC units up to snuff, so get ahead of the curve and have them ensure you don't have a summer where you pit out every shirt you own. Book in May during their pre-summer heat savings event and you'll beat the rush and save yourself some walking around money. Call Standard Heating today or visit standardheating.com. Enjoy the show. We sincerely appreciate you checking us out each and every day.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Former MLB All-Star Sean Casey, a.k.a. The Mayor, keeps hitting it out of the park.
I don't need to hear anything from anybody. There's too much riding on my mind being locked in. Play offense, not defense. If you play hard and you play the game right, nobody really gets on you. They're going to boo you here and there, but if you show them that you care and that you're playing hard, that's what you need to do. Just play the game one way. You hit a ball in the gap, run. Boom, coming in hot.
The Mayor's Office with Sean Casey from Believe.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Half-assed morning show. 93X.
Yes, welcome back.
Dr. P. Jesus.
Whoa. To
The 93X
That's a lot of
Half-assed
intros.
morning show.
Welcome back to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. Our next guest is all set to answer any of your health questions at the telephone number 651-989-9393. That's how you text in. Dr. P. Jesus is in studio on day one of the spring edition of Ultimate F-Off Week. Hello, Dr. P., and welcome to F-Off Week.
Hey, great to be here for F-Off Week.
Yeah,
Nice to have you. Mm-hmm. Looking good as always.
Oh, thank you.
Have you been outside playing a little pickleball? Looks like you got some.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit of lawn stuff too. You know, got a new tractor.
Did you
Whoa.
really?
Yeah.
Lucky.
It's green.
That's awesome.
It's actually, it's a little small lawn sprinkler tractor that follows my hose. Actually, you know.
You dick.
Yeah.
You got one of those cute little. Yeah.
How fast can you get that bad boy cooking?
It's quite stationary.
It appears to go very slow. No, a big part of my lawn got all screwed up. So yes, I did finally buy one of those cheesy tractors.
Well,
I wish I had a real tractor, but
yeah, me too. I don't have a lawn big enough for
Me
one, but it'd be awesome. Short but fat Jesus had a question, some medication. Maybe you can help out here. Let's see. Can you hold on. Can I ask my doctor to put me on a new medication for pain? They have Tylenol with codeine, and she's wondering, is that addictive?
Codeine is an opiate, so yeah, it's related to morphine and all the other medications in that category. So yeah, it's easy to become dependent on codeine, just like any other medicine like that. I
had that once. I was prescribed that once.
Yeah, and there's a difference between dependence and addiction, and it gets complicated. But basically, any medication like that, if you keep taking it, you need more to get the same effect. And there's pretty good evidence these days that being on those types of medication, your pain levels increase over time.
Really?
There's an opioid epidemic at this point in the U.S. and maybe, I guess I don't know about the rest of the world, but in the U.S. where people obviously have access to various drugs, you hear about things being laced with much more potent opioids and people overdosing. There's a huge push to really reduce people being on those chronically, if at all possible.
Anybody watch the Hulu show Dope Sick?
Never saw it.
Yep.
That was paints a pretty bleak picture about how that can just grab you and change your life completely.
Yeah. Folks will get hooked on drugs. They will.
So I guess I'm not sure she's asking about.
Tylenol with codeine specific. I thought that was pretty mild as far as that goes.
It depends on the dose a little bit.
At least that's what my doctor told me.
Yeah, I guess it is considered sort of a milder opioid. I don't think it's any less, you can still become dependent on it. So I have no idea what's going on with her pain. Usually, again, trying to prevent people from being on that long term is the goal. So
I try to stay away from drugs altogether. I don't even like to take Advil.
I try not to as well.
Oh, I miss being able to take real drugs.
I get my balls busted.
why, Nick? You just...
Oh, I don't know. I just don't like pills.
Yeah.
I don't like pills. You miss real drugs?
Being able to take real medication, yeah.
Why can't you take real medication?
Because the baby.
Oh, you're pregnant.
The only thing I'm allowed to take is like Tylenol or Benadryl. Like, I'm convinced if I called them and was like, hey, I got stabbed and I'm bleeding out, they'd be like, oh, Tylenol. Just take some Tylenol.
They don't want you near anything.
Oh,
Yeah, you
nah.
can take Unisom too, though. That'll help you sleep through the stabbing.
Yeah, that's stuff. I've been on that stuff. Yeah.
It is true. You're quite limited in pregnancy. It just they don't mostly because they don't like to experiment on pregnant women.
It makes
So,
sense.
Lots of things are not known whether they're particularly safe. So.
Here's a listener texting in about cholesterol. They are doing the carnivore diet. So it says here, can you ask the doctor his take on cholesterol, if it's good or bad for you? What do they mean by that?
Well, I guess, I mean, that's a good question. If you're measuring cholesterol levels in the blood, there's the bad cholesterol. This is the simplest way to look at it. The bad cholesterol is the LDL. The good cholesterol is the HDL. Triglycerides are the free fats. And various numbers of those can reflect pretty much what your diet is like, what your genetics are like, and can either increase or decrease your risk of heart disease, depending on what those are like. I mean, eating cholesterol does not, I think this is what they're talking about. Eating cholesterol does not directly affect your cholesterol. I mean, eating fats, which is cholesterols in that, are processed, and it's a downstream thing. I mean, if you eat a higher fat diet, lots of red meat, your cholesterol numbers do tend to go to a more unfavorable panel, but it's not a direct correlation. But the carnivore diet, presumably that means, well, does that just mean meat? Do people do that?
Yeah, they do.
I mean, that's even more restrictive than, the Atkins diet, which is at least meat and dairy and some other things.
That's what it reminds me of. I think in the carnivore diet, it's a lot of red meat and eggs. A lot of eggs.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's debatable exactly what that'll do to your cholesterol, but it's certainly not going to help it.
Okay.
But again, you do need to separate cholesterol that you eat from cholesterol in your bloodstream based on how your body is processing the things you're eating. There's not a direct correlation. When you get cholesterol numbers from your doctor, they'll probably tell you this looks okay, this looks bad, here's what you would do to work on it. Generally, changing to a lower fat diet, exercising more will hopefully decrease the bad cholesterol, increase the good cholesterol.
Fair enough.
Do you guys remember, I think it was in your stupid news, Nick, we had a story about a guy who was doing the carnivore, or a version of the carnivore diet, and he started cholesterol started coming out of his hands.
He turned pink.
He had changed color.
Yeah, he turned into his skin was the same color as raw meat, if I'm remembering the same story.
Yeah, he claimed that this was the diet he was following.
He was seeping out something, Josh. What was it like?
I mean, it could have been cholesterol. There are people, some people, I guess I haven't heard of that from dietary change. There are people that don't process fats right. Chylomicronemia, I believe, is what it's called. It's basically like free fats floating around your blood, but they'll get little vesicles around their eyes and all over the body.
From eating too much red meat.
Well, or just because they can't process cholesterol.
They can't process
I assume this person probably has some sort of a predisposition to that too.
That sucks.
They're turning the same color as their meal before they cooked it.
Yeah, I guess I don't know why you'd want that goal. Unless you're trying to become food for a carnivore. I mean,
I'm going on safari.
Right, yeah. Wolves love me.
Dogs in the neighborhood, everybody.
Shawnee Be Good Jesus said, just this morning I cracked one off in the shower.
Good.
And they noticed some discoloring in the red to brown area.
I've been there.
44, first time I've ever seen something like that. Recently in for my yearly physical, all tests came back normal. Is it nothing to worry about, or do I need immediate medical attention?
There's no in between.
Yeah. Does not need immediate medical attention. So hematospermia, I believe, is what we're talking about, which is blood in the semen.
Right.
Question mark. No,
it's scary. It's scary the first time it happens.
Did you hear the part where he cracked one off in the shower?
I know. That's why I just wanted to make sure. I was sort of assuming I knew what that meant, and I think most people in the listening audience do. They also know what beating off men.
Beating off 100 men.
Yeah, I heard that this morning, too.
By the way, who the hell rubs one out a guy before work? For God's sake, all I want to do.
Maybe he's a third shifter.
And he's 44, too. That's impressive.
Well, maybe he's a third shift. I was estimating if he's in the shower, he's readying himself for a day. I just want to crawl back into bed after that experience. So this is one dedicated worker right here.
Yes. But no, a small amount of blood in the semen is not terribly uncommon. It is, I mean, if it keeps happening, absolutely get in to be seen. But it's usually it's probably a tiny little blood vessel in the prostate or one of the seminal vesicles. That is just, there's a little bit of blood. It doesn't take much to appear obviously very abnormal. It is rarely a sign of anything bad.
So a little blood in the semen, you're not too worried.
Yeah.
What about the other way? If you cut your arm and some semen comes out.
Oh, no!
Is that bad?
Stay away from ladies who are not on birth control. And yeah, maybe you get that.
I've never heard of that one. I've never heard of that one. Dr. P is our guest this morning. Dr. James Parnell, 651-989-9393. If you have a question you'd like to text his way. Dr. P, why does alcohol cause a, quote, beer belly? And we could go in a bunch of different directions here, really. I want to know why and how alcohol affects some people's noses. I want to know why alcohol affects some people's eyes and things like
faces, where they turn red.
They bloat and turn red. But first off, why? I mean, it probably has to do with just simply calories, right? Why does alcohol cause a beer belly?
Yeah, it's typically a beer belly is in men. And
they've earned it.
They have earned it, right. Yeah, they've done well to create a shelf for their beer on their abdomen. I mean, so men tend to hold on to fat centrally, central obesity, as opposed to in the butt and thighs, which is where women tend to.
Yeah.
So that's one part of it. Yeah, beer. Beer does have a lot of carbohydrates, basically. So it's a lot of calories, and a lot of calories pretty fast, and your body just kind of stores that essentially. So it's like you're storing energy.
That's where it goes. Yep.
I remember the first time someone told me it was a fuel tank for a love machine. I thought that was pretty cool.
My other favorite, Josh, is when guys say, "Hey, when you got a rig like this, you got to build a shed over it."
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, I don't think it helps that probably. So it could also be enlargement of liver that can, add to the beer belly.
Oh, kiss
spectrum.
your ass goodbye at that point, right?
Well, if it's big, that's, you still got time. Once it gets big and then starts to scar and shrinks into cirrhosis, then you can kiss it
What
goodbye.
about some of those hard drinkers that get the red nose?
So usually they have rosacea probably, so it's a skin condition that men will often get later in life. I mean, women can get it too.
Okay.
But alcohol tends to make it worse. And like really chronic alcohol gives was it W.C. Fields, it's called, like rhinophyma, I think is the term, basically, where you get enlargement of the nose from, I think even Winston Churchill had that maybe. So it's not terribly uncommon, but yeah, that redness, it's sort of a genetic condition, and it just shows up that way. But the puffiness of the face, I think it's all just, way too many calories that your body can't do anything with.
One of my friends found out he was allergic to a certain type of alcohol because every time he would drink it, he would turn red-faced and get very hot. Found out he was allergic to a certain type of hooch. Now, one more real quick. What about when folks get that yellowing of the eyes? That pretty much means they're at death's door.
I mean, yellowing of the eyes is jaundice, if that's what you're thinking.
I thought that...
isn't that a failure or kidney or...
I mean, that's basically, that's related to liver failure.
Okay, maybe I have the wrong color. Maybe it was. I thought if you're a really hard drinker, you can see a redness or a discoloration. I thought it was yellow but maybe I'm thinking of something completely different.
I mean, you might be. I mean, again, jaundice is a sign of, your liver is not processing bile anymore.
That must be it.
And that's, you are in trouble then. I mean, something major is going on.
I had a good friend who had hepatitis. Mm-hmm. And passed away, turned yellow eyes.
Died of hepatitis?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I mean, it obviously looks bizarre. I mean, it's not a normal variation of color.
Yeah, it's not subtle.
So I'll look up what you're talking about. I'm not
Don't worry about
I'm
it.
Sure, that is what you're thinking of. But.
That's just you know what it was, Dr. P? It was the liquor talking.
Here's a libido question for you from a 37-year-old. My libido is higher these days than even in my teens and 20s. Is that normal? I find it quite annoying.
This is a man or a woman?
Doesn't say. I couldn't tell you.
Oh.
Yeah, because they say a woman, well, the word on the street is that you get a higher sex drive.
In the 30s.
Yeah.
For women, that's
30s.
totally normal.
Yeah, and it sucks because that's when men start to go the other way. So.
Well, this guy's in his 30s?
A guy or girl, yes, 37.
Yeah, I get you guys said it. I mean, I think I don't know why exactly that happens with women. I mean, I don't think estrogen levels are higher in your 30s, but it does seem like women tend to go that direction.
He's a guy.
He's a guy.
He just got back to us.
Yeah.
When I was in my 30s, I was probably at my peak there, too.
My late 20s, early 30s was the sluttiest years of my life.
Yeah, I don't think it's unusual.
No, not at all. Between 35 and 40, I was a sick animal.
It may just, I think maybe, well, obviously the experience of being a teenager, it's all new, and you don't have a whole lot going on. You don't have a job. You don't, so it, in retrospect, it may seem like your drive was even more than it was, but no, I don't. I mean, I can't think of a single medical condition in a man that's going to make your sex drive higher that you need to go to the doctor for.
Maybe he got some hot new neighbors or something like that.
Yeah, but truly, I mean,
I would say there's nothing unusual about that.
No, like a testosterone secreting tumor. No, I don't. That would be weird.
So you're not too worried about it?
No. Use protection.
Oh, no, Dr. P. Jesus, one of our listeners has, as they put it here in their text machine, got the shingles.
Oh, I heard that's so painful.
Ever since I turned 50, some pharmacies have been texting me saying, hey, get your shingles vaccine.
You should. And I keep putting it off. Forget about it every friggin' time.
I'm going to do it. I went once and there was a problem with insurance or something. But
okay.
I've heard it's a terrible thing. So this listener says, I got the shingles 2 weeks ago. In your professional opinion, how much longer till the itching stops? It's super uncomfortable. That they don't mention if they're medicating themselves in any way, but maybe he's asking in general, how long does a case of shingles stick around for a pimp?
Sure. So shingles, just to remind people, is the chickenpox virus. At least historically, people our age had it as a kid. We got it from other people.
Yep.
I hated the chicken pox.
I had a breeze when I had it, so go ahead.
Yeah, and viruses, it seems weird, but they can hang out in your body in a dormant state for decades.
Yeah.
And they do, and usually it's in sort of an area of nerves along the spine. And then at some point when you're older, maybe because you're stressed or your immune system's not quite up to snuff, the virus sort of, because you develop antibodies when you first have chickenpox, those sort of keep that virus suppressed. That's why if your immune system isn't working quite right, the virus says, hey, it's party.
Remember me?
And it starts replicating and spreading along the course of a nerve, and it erupts onto the skin. So you get a rash that looks like chickenpox, sort of red with little fluid-filled vesicles. And there's pain, and it's nerve pain, which is weird.
My dad had it, and he was miserable.
Yeah. Because it's not... The patients I've seen over the years, usually you get pain actually before you get the rash, and people will be like, "Man, I must have broken a rib or strained something, or what is going on here?"
A buddy of mine had that exact experience,
and it hurts so much, and yet you didn't do anything, and you can push on it; it doesn't hurt.
Right.
And then the rash sort of shows up. So it's a unique kind of pain. It's usually, it's burning, tingling, shooting, and just bad.
Sounds awful.
Yeah. And then the rash will erupt. If you realize it's happening, or if you get in early, you can be put on some antiviral medication that will shorten the course of the whole experience.
This person says it made its way down to his manhood. Oh. That can happen, huh? Or maybe he had something else at the same time.
I mean, that's a little, because usually, typically it's called a dermatome. It's in the path of a nerve. Where on the skin a nerve innervates, basically. So it's usually wrapping around your torso, or it could wrap around your waist, and I guess your, what did he say again?
His manhood.
His manhood. That's an unusual spot. It can happen up on your head and face, and that can be very concerning because of eye problems. So if you get put on medication, it'll shorten the course. Even if you don't, the rash usually lasts for probably, the vesicles last for days to maybe a week. Then they start to dry up. When they're dried up, you're no longer kind of actively producing virus, essentially.
Probably looking at a rough month then.
At least, yeah. Some people will have that pain going on for, months, and sometimes people have pain forever. I mean, that's really why there's a shingle vaccine, because as the older you get, the more severe cases of shingles tend to be, and the more likely you are to have, it's called post-herpetic neuralgia.
Never heard of anyone having shingles on their rod.
No.
I haven't either.
Right after I spent the weekend with this married woman up in Little Falls.
Right. So that's a question. Being diagnosed with shingles is usually a good idea, because you don't want to just assume. It's almost always on one side of the body.
Yeah.
It is exceedingly rare. It wouldn't normally be in the midline, and it wouldn't normally be wrapping around both sides. So
you just gave a guy a heads up on a terrible STD he recently caught.
He might have something different.
A 38-year-old female wants to know, do I have to wait until I'm 50 to get the vaccine? That's what they told me at the pharmacy.
That's the recommendation, from the vaccine folks. Usually that's what I think insurances require you to be 50. And it's because basically, after 50 it's presumed that your immune or your antibodies against the chickenpox virus are waning. And again, as the older you get, the more severe shingles tends to be. So that's the age that's been picked. I think when the shingles vaccine when it first came out was a little older. There's been a couple different ones over time, I think. Am I getting that all mixed up? No, but
one more quick shingles question. If you had really bad chickenpox as a kid, is that foreshadowing for shingles? Because I had a cakewalk when I had chickenpox. It wasn't no thing but a chicken wing, the whole thing. My brother and sister were just mangled; they could barely move.
That's a good question. I would actually think, if anything, it's the opposite.
No!
Yeah. Sorry, I was going to say. Do you want to hear this, Nick?
I was feeling pretty.
Did you get any pock marks at all?
No.
Yeah, I got a couple.
It was a cake. I danced my way through chicken pox when I was a kid. Everyone else in the family was just laid out suffering.
The only reason I say that is because if you have a more severe case, your body probably puts up a much more vigorous antibody or immune response. So you have more antibodies long term. But I could look that up quick. I've never heard.
You can look it up.
But yeah, milder would tend to suggest your body didn't have to fight it off too much. And
all right. Look it up if you like. It's time to take a break.
Yeah,
and plus, I've got this terrible pain in my side.
Oh.
Hi, everybody.
Dr. P. Jesus, welcome to the Half-Assed Morning Show.
93X.
Yes, my friends. Our doctor is here, Dr. James Parnell, otherwise known as Dr. P. Jesus. We got to wrap this deal up right quick, but we can squeeze in a couple more questions for the man from our glorious listening audience. A dark question. Dr. P. Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
In your career, a listener wants to know, have you ever performed any amputations? And if so, what did you cut off?
I guess you could consider this an amputation. It's not very common these days, and it's certainly not done generally by your family doctor.
Right.
If they recommend it, you might want to get a second opinion. If they're talking about doing an office amputation,
I'll hack that thing right here, man.
You know what? Let me call in the nurse. We'll just cut it off. Yeah,
right.
We'll just cut it off.
You hate that toenail fungus. Let's just get rid of those toes.
Yeah.
In the emergency room when I was a resident, somebody had a rough interaction with a lawnmower. And yes,
I had a friend who had a rough interaction with a snowblower.
Oh yeah, that's even. I feel like that's worse because of maybe it pulls you in. The mower kind of chops. But
it's weird though. So he was a kid.
Yeah.
We were maybe fourth grade, and so like you said, it sucked them in. But the skin was never broken, but he broke almost every bone in his foot. It was just a bag of bones.
That's true. Snowblower doesn't really have sharp edges.
It was because it went like between the blades.
Yeah.
It's kind of how it went.
What did you cut off?
I had to cut off the end of his finger.
Oh.
Yeah, because it was that part wasn't gonna survive. So yeah, you use a little.
It's kind of fun.
Use a little tool called a rongeur. It's basically like a huge nail clipper.
Yeah.
And I still remember the sound and the feel of it.
Oh.
Yeah. Thankfully, amputations don't have to be done a whole lot. And generally, if they are done, obviously, in an operating room, not on a picnic table next to a, battlefield like it used to be done. Which I when I think about,
a picnic table next to
and being a doctor or a medic before honestly, anywhere really, but yeah, they used to just carry on their saws. And
You never know when you got to cut off a leg.
Yeah.
What a
brutal.
Gig. I have a couple follow-up things about shingles, just really quick.
Shingles.
The severity of your chicken pox does not appear to directly correlate at all to severity or timing of shingles. So
whether you get it or not.
Yeah, or how bad it's going to be.
All right.
And then the other thing I should have clarified is, so for people who are otherwise healthy, don't have significant medical problems, 50 is the age when you get the vaccine. If you're immunocompromised because of a chronic medical condition, because of a transplant, chemotherapy, things like that, then it can be done really after age 18 anytime. Because if your immune system is suppressed, then you're more likely to get episodes of shingles. And honestly, those people can end up getting it multiple times, really, because their immune system's not responding correctly.
What a nightmare.
Wayland for Life has one more text on shingles.
Yeah.
Do you recommend the original 3-tab or the architectural? He's going to put a new roof on his house, and he's looking for your opinion.
Go for architectural. I think it's a nice look. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Friggin' unbelievable. We got to get going, Dr. P.
Whew, it always goes so fast.
It does.
Yep.
Because
really
we
does.
had a lot of fun, and you're always very informative and friendly. And by damn, we look forward to a couple weeks from now when we will meet again.
Always good to be here. Thanks.
Thanks, dude.
Before we go, right now on the Luther Bloomington Kia text line, text FINAL, FINAL, FINAL to 651-989-9393, and that'll get you a chance to a movie screening we're having this week. VIP 4-pack of tickets to the advanced screening of Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That'll be Wednesday night, 7 o'clock at AMC Rosedale. Again, FINAL is your word, 651-989-9393. That is the number. And if you're interested, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning is in theaters on Friday. Have a great day.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Well, if it isn't our wonderful podcast listener, the ones that all of us on hams love the most. Dana here to give you a little gentle reminder to hit up our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning and tune up that AC before it fully turns into crotch soup season. June through August are Standard's busy season for getting AC units up to snuff, so get ahead of the curve and have them ensure you don't have a summer where you pit out every shirt you own. Book in May during their pre-summer heat savings event, and you'll beat the rush and save yourself some walking around money. Call Standard Heating today or visit standardheating.com. Enjoy the show. We sincerely appreciate you checking us out each and every day.